The longest season in professional sports has come down to this. After 14,000 miles, 10,000 laps, it's one race, 3 drivers for NASCAR's biggest prize. Kevin Harvick may be third, but he has the best record among the top 3 at this track. Albeit small, Denny Hamlin comes in with the points lead, but he still has a long way to go. And after winning the championship 4 times in a row, many say the advantage goes to the 48 team and Jimmy Johnson, but this is why we race. It's winner take all in the final event of 2010. The Homestead Miami Speedway is the place, and it simply doesn't get any better than this. Get on your feet, race fans, for one more time in 2010. It's NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Denny Hamlin has the smallest lead in chase history, but only 2 times since 1975 has the guy who's leading the points in the final race not come away with the championship. Welcome everyone to Race Day. I'm John Roberts. He is Kyle Petty, also known as KP, and he is race car driver number 28, yes. Kenny Wallace. Guys, this is it. You couldn't really ask for much more. Beautiful blue sunny skies and a tight championship race.
So you want to know who is going to win this championship? Let me see. Jimmy Johnson's going to win the championship. Yes, no, maybe so. But if I am wrong, tune in tonight on NASCAR Victory Lane, and I'll tell you who it is.
Way to take a stand, Kenny.
Yeah, good stand. Good stand.
Right out on the limb.
Jimmy Johnson.
What a great way and a great place to end the season. History's going to be made here in one way or the other. Denny Hamlin could be his first championship. You look at Jimmy Johnson. 5 in a row. Never been done. 4's never been row. He's the only guy. We've not seen it in 60-some-odd years of racing. And the guy, Kevin Harvick, can come from 3rd to win the championship. Not been done in this sport. So no matter what goes on today, something spectacular is going to happen and history is going to be made.
And we better not write off the 29 team. So much focus being placed on the 11 and the 48. The 29 is still in this thing, and Kevin Harvick could bring that championship back to Richard Childress Racing. Now, when something means this much and it's so close, perhaps the only advantage someone might have is head games, and we've seen that so far. Denny Hamlin is first, 15 points ahead of Jimmy Johnson, and Kevin Harvick is just 46 back, and that represents, guys, the smallest first to second place margin in chase history.
Well, what's incredible about this is just 2 or 3 spots inside the top 10. We won't know who's going to win this until coming off in turn 4 to the checkered flag.
It could come down to the final lap, but let's not forget about the rest of the 12 chasers. They still have a lot to prove. Kyle Petty, look at the zeros in the win column by Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, and Jeff Burton.
Yeah, there are 3 guys in the top 12 who have not won a race. And when you look at that, that's huge to think that these are the cream of the crop. This is our 12 best drivers in this series, or have been this year more consistently, and 3 of them have not made their way to victory lane.
And the very last situation we're looking at, the top 10 drivers go on the stage. There's only 5 points that separate Kurt Busch and Clint Boyer. What wife, what situation, what sponsor will be in the top 10? That's going to be something decided today.
That's going to be big when it comes time for the championship banquet in Las Vegas. But, you know, today it's going to be a very serious matter of racing for a championship for the 3 top points contenders right now. But it wasn't all seriousness all week long. They actually had some time to have a little bit of fun.
I'm just trying to remind Denny that he has everything to lose and we're only 15 points back. I mean, it's really not anything to fret over, Denny.
You know, the fuel mileage is going to be a big factor as we come to Sunday. I hope they put that same carburetor on your car.
2 of you have beards and the other one does not. Is that going to affect you guys? But
I'm a Gillette young gun.
Even though you're 30? Don't they kick you out when you're 30? He definitely seems like the most nervous, though.
I try not to give myself too much time with myself. I'll just stop there.
What else did you expect out of me? Come on.
The biggest thing we learned to do at Ron's was drink beer.
I was told in these situations to deflect, so I then turned to Kevin. I don't know, this has been one of the most awkward, probably 30 minutes I've been through.
And I know you want to hear it, but sure, if the 11's in front of me, we're coming to the white, I'm going to dump his ass.
What's awkward?
Oh, just all the talking that's going on, and then we're like 2 feet away. For me to say I would wreck a guy or turn a guy for a championship, I don't know how high I could hold that trophy.
You know, if it comes down to the end, I'll sleep fine. I'll do whatever I have to do.
And that's just how important this championship is to those 3 drivers. Somebody's going to walk away with it today from this racetrack. Let's go inside now and check in with Wendy Venturini. Wendy, good morning.
Good morning, Johnny. Let's set the stage for the season finale, starting with our points leader, Denny Hamlin.
Homestead with a 15-point advantage. Definitely a place that Denny Hamlin wants to be in, but where he doesn't want to be is his starting position. He starts 37th today. A poor qualifying effort in the essence for Denny Hamlin. What does that mean and equate to on pit road? Well, it's pit stall number 38 for the 11 car. He has Eric Almirola and Matt Kenseth on either side of him. But keep in mind, starting 37th, not a big deal for Denny Hamlin. He started 38th when he won this race at Homestead 1 year ago. And yesterday in happy hour, the most important practice for all these cars, Denny Hamlin was very pleased, 4th on the chart. Now this race car is the second time it's been raced. The last time it was raced 2 weeks ago at Texas when he ended up in victory lane. Can he repeat and take home his first Sprint Cup championship? We're just hours away from finding out if he can knock our 4-timer off the top. For more on that, let's head over to Hermie Sadler.
We're thinking we need to knock Jimmy Johnson off. He'll have to chase him down a little bit once the race starts because Jimmy Johnson qualified 6th. And they had a plan when they got here. Chad Kness and Jimmy Johnson stayed in qualifying trim all day on Friday. Got that 6th place starting spot, which is good. This race has been won 8 out of 11 times from a top 10 starting spot. But let's go back to pit road. That top qualifying spot garnered them pit stall number 22. That doesn't mean a whole lot other than they got the 66 car behind them and an opening in front of them on pit road. So they should have a good opportunity to get in and out of pit road and maintain that track position. As far as happy hour for Jimmy Johnson, his car was, in his words, decent. Car Chief Ron Malik, I spoke with him about 5 minutes ago. He said, Hermie, the car had decent forward drive, but a little bit free on entry, so we've worked on that for Jimmy to try to get him tightened up a little bit. Now, the other guy in this championship battle is Kevin Harvick. These guys come to the racetrack this weekend with a brand new Pennzoil car, never been tested until they got on the racetrack here on Friday. Now, he qualified 28th. What did that do on pit road? Not as bad as you may think. He's got pit stall number 2, all the way at the end of pit road, in between the 83 and the 5 car on pit road. Now, Kevin Harvick, although he had a subpar qualifying effort, he was very happy with this race car in race trim. He thinks that he can drive to the front and try to put a little bit of pressure on the 11 and the 48. Maybe try to make a mistake and give this car an opportunity to win this championship. Johnny?
Hermie, thanks a lot. Now, racing for a championship is definitely no day at the beach. So we got such a big show for you. We brought some friends with us at the beach. And that is none other than Steve Burns, Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Jeff Hammond, who are down on the beach. And that sand sculpture is just flat out cool. Guys, looks like you're chilling out there having fun. But first, you know, Darrell Waltrip's never been one to stir up any trash talking or anything like that when it comes to a championship. But let's take a look at the Twitter wars that went on. Darrell says the championship is there for the taking, but you're up against a 4-time champion. Denny Hamlin really didn't agree with that. He said, well, I guess we shouldn't even show up. We're up against that. LOL, we all know what that means. Then Kevin Harvick says, hey, DW, are you still getting a check from Hendrick? And then Denny Hamlin retweets something, mind you, that Kevin Harvick has said. So obviously, Denny's following Kevin Harvick, and everybody's following DW. DW, why would you want to stir up such a storm?
Well, I didn't really mean to. If you read what I tweeted, I was just stating the facts. And, of course, Hamlin and Harvick, they took exception to that. But, listen, the media is your friend. I always said, even back in the day, use the media. Send messages to your competition. Get in their head with the media. And I think these two guys, when we saw that press conference they had Thursday, it showed that they're using not just the media, but they're working on each other's mind right now. I love that. It's part of the game, and I'm glad to see that they're following me. They're responding to me. I had a conversation with Harvick. He's cool. Denny Hamlin, on the other hand, he's sweating.
So what you're doing is you're adding to this situation. Once again, you're stirring the pot, just like you used to do back when you were driving. You're stirring the pot.
Well, you know what? The social media, Twitter and other things, the internet, the social media has become such a big part of all sports. And the reason I say that is because back in Daytona, remember in February, when the pothole was in the track, people in the garage were tweeting how they were going to fix it before we even found out. I made up my mind right there. I'm going to use the social network to try to improve not just communication with the fans, but with whomever wants to follow me. So, Larry, it's a great tool, and all these drivers follow Twitter. I know Dale Jr. follows it too.
Well, I think what has led to, there's two things that I like about this chase this year. You know, this is the 7th year of the chase format. And now, not only do we have 2 guys that can win this championship, we've actually got that 3rd guy. And to be honest, any one of those guys could have a top 5 finish today and either win this championship or still lose this championship. But the other thing I like, and it goes all the way back to the 33, the 29, and the 11, the 2nd race of the chase at Dover. This has been 9 weeks of a war on the racetrack, but it's been a war of words too. And we've never had that, but there's never been a reason to, Steve, because Jimmy Johnson always had to come here and just finish 15th or better, 20th or better, or a scenario like that.
You know what, Larry, back in the summer, somebody asked Rick Hendrick, they said, what is the championship going to come down to? And he said, I'll tell you, here's my prediction. He said, it's going to come down to the final green-white checker of the year, and somebody's going to get their feelings hurt. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen today. I think Rick Hendrick is right.
Just one quick follow-up. Denny Hamlin said in an interview, I heard him yesterday, that 48 doesn't have that nitrous switch that they've had in the past. That's stirring the pot.
Hey, well, we got a full 3-hour edition of NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot for you, and all 3 championship contenders will join us live to talk about their hopes and dreams of taking home their 1st or their 5th championship trophy in the Sprint Cup Series. Stay with us, everybody.
It seems like yesterday, Jamie Mack was on top of the world, and a new season had just begun. Fast forward 10 months, and we're ready to hand out the real hardware. But not before we take a few feel-good turns around 2010. We'll show you the best of the season from beach to beach. Around the turn, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on speed.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by the General Automobile Insurance Services. For the best car insurance rates in town, call 1-800-GENERAL now. And by Silver Star Ultra Headlights by Sylvania. See farther, see wider, see better.
Welcome back to Race Day, everyone. There are still 9 other chasers and 31 other drivers with something to prove today. Some need their first win of the season, and some are just looking to add one more.
Halfback dig, dude. Dig. You're doing it, man. McMurray off turn 4 for the final time. You got it, man. We won.
McMurray will get it. His first time out with Earnhardt Ganassi Racing. He will win the 52nd running of the Daytona 500.
Oh, my God. That was so awesome.
The 2010 season kicked off with an unlikely winner on NASCAR's biggest stage. And even though Jamie McMurray failed to make the chase, his season was a resounding success as he kept on winning and winning.
Jamie McMurray may not be a chaser, but tonight in Charlotte, he was the best racer.
Over, right? Yeah, man, it's over. Woo!
Jamie Mack wasn't alone in snapping substantial winless streaks this year. Phoenix proved to be a streak snapper as Ryan Newman returned to victory lane in April after 77 races.
Ryan Newman looking for his first checkered flag since the 2008 Daytona 500.
Woo! Yes, sir, baby! Woo!
And Carl Edwards took checkers after 70 races without a win. Just last week,
Carl Edwards will win the Cobalt Tools 500.
Awesome day, fellas. Awesome day. Awesome weekend. Great job.
Greg Biffle won at the return trip to Pocono after 64 races and wasted no time in winning again, this time at Kansas during the chase for the Sprint Cup.
Great job, guys. Perfectly executed.
And then there's Juan Pablo Montoya, who dominated the road course at Watkins Glen and snapped a 113 race drought.
Juan Pablo Montoya, his 2nd Cup win.
Been working really hard for this. This is what it's all about right here.
Everybody thought it would be Jimmy Johnson, maybe Denny Hamlin, maybe Jeff Gordon, but instead, surprise, it is David Rudiman.
David Rudiman trounced the competition at Chicago and proved his win last season was no fluke.
There you go, Big. Ain't no rain tonight, baby. It's all you, man. You deserve that.
Perennial chasers Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, and Big Brother Kurt kept the wins a-comin'.
We got this, bitches. Ring the bell, baby. Woo!
Notching a combined 8 between them.
Swept the weekend in Bristol, baby.
even if it only counted for bragging rights.
He's come close before. Runner-up back in 2003. Tonight, Kurt Busch gets the victory and $1 million.
The RCR boys, who were shut out in '09, made it back to contention and the chase in 2010.
It is indeed Clint Boyer.
Kevin Harvick's leading the charge, and the Sprint Cup championship is well within his grasp.
Only one thing mattered this afternoon, and that was winning the race and picking up those bonus points. Great freaking job.
But first, he has to get through Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin. And that's a Herculean task, if there ever was one. Denny Hamlin was an early favorite to unseat the champ and is currently on his way to proving those early prognosticators right.
Checker flag. All we do is win, baby.
With 8 wins under his belt, he's tops on the leaderboard and leads Jimmy Johnson by a slim 15 points.
Denny Hamlin takes the checkered flag by 3 car lengths over Matt Kenseth. He gets the win and the point lead.
But Jimmy knows how to win both races and championships. He reached the half-century mark at Bristol.
Jimmy Johnson scores his 50th career Sprint Cup win.
Yes, yes, yes!
I'd rather lose to any other 41 cars out there than this 48 car.
And took checkers 5 more times, giving him a career total of 53, 10th on the all-time list.
It's chase time, and Jimmy Johnson and the Lowe's team are going to victory lane. That's how they roll.
And with 4 championships already in his pocket, Jimmy Johnson has the experience and is ready for a 3-way battle where every point matters, if he's to win number 5.
So there are your notable winners in this 2010 season that has certainly had its share of ups and downs. But let's take a look at some of the notable non-winners, and these names are pretty much as big as it gets. Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano, and Jeff Gordon is currently on a 64-race winless streak. Burt Kane, Dale Earnhardt Jr., all past winners, Kenny Wallace, they got shut out this year.
The one driver that has drawn my attention is Joey Logano. 1 year ago, we said, is Joe Gibbs racing crazy? What is Home Depot thinking? Hiring this young driver with no Sprint Cup experience. Race fans, in the last 10 races in the Sprint Cup Series, Joey Logano, 7 top 10s. Now, he has no wins, but check this out. He has the same amount of top 10s as his predecessor, Tony Stewart, both with 16 top 10s. Really proud of Joey Logano for proving all of us wrong. He's close to winning again. DW, my friend, what do you got to say?
Yeah, here's what I see. I think Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton, the 2 Jeffs, they're 2 of the most frustrated race car drivers that's out there right now. Both of them had cars this year that shoulda, coulda won races, and they don't have anything to show for it. And I think it all came to a head at Texas. I think that pushing match, that shoving match, that fight that they had at Texas was purely out of frustration. And I think when you got guys that have had cars that they know they should have won in, but something kept them from it, then they get frustrated. And the last time Jeff Gordon won a race was at a track he had never won at before. That was Texas. He's never won here. Watch the 24 today, Larry. He could be somebody that could be a spoiler in the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit like Kenny Wallace, so I'm going to step outside that top 12, our chase drivers. I love the phrase, what a difference a year makes. Just think about Mark Martin 1 year ago, sitting here with 5 wins, actually in contention to win the championship against 2 of his teammates, winless in 2010. The other guy that I think we might ought to keep an eye on today, because he's had a very dismal season. He made the change to Red Bull Racing with 5 races to go to get started on next year, is our pole sitter, Casey Kane. He's had a fairly long dry spell as well, so I think that's 2 guys outside the chase that we might want to watch.
Larry Mack, thanks a lot. We'll definitely be watching those guys, because with these other drivers focusing on the championship is a golden opportunity for somebody to sneak up and get a win. There's already been a lot of racing so far on the racetrack this weekend. We'll show you the Camping World Truck Series, the Nationwide Series, when we come back.
Will Jimmy add to his legacy today, or is it the end of an era? Either way, we'll celebrate NASCAR's four-peating, dominating winning machine by taking it all the way back to the beginning to show you how the 48 has made the last 4 years a time to remember. Coming at you, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on speed.
Welcome Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Let's take a look at the Camping World Truck Series race from Friday night. Little matter of an owner's championship still to be decided here. Close call for Kyle Busch on the racetrack. Another close call for Johnny Sauter as well. Kyle Busch wanted to go out and prove something in this race as he had the owner's championship on the line. Did not fall a lap down when he cut a tire, but still lost a lot of positions on the racetrack. Take a look at John Jackson's truck as it hit hard, Kyle.
Yeah, right here, you know, and that's what that safety barrier is supposed to do. You see, these are filled with sand. We've seen guys in the past hit them when they're filled with water. They brought Miami Beach to Homestead International, or the Homestead Raceway right there. That was a big deal.
They said 1,000 pounds of sand that had to be cleaned up.
That's a good thing for John Jackson. Know that those barriers were there. Let's take a look at the final stretch in this one, last restart, as Kyle Busch comes around to win the race and the owner's championship as well. He takes yet another checkered flag, and also that says a lot about what this race team has done to win that championship in the owner's category. But the driver's champion was none other than Todd Bodine, hoisting that trophy for a second year in a row. Congratulations to the Onion, and a great series also for Almirola, Johnny Sauter, Crafton, and Austin Dillon. Rookie of the Year in the Camping World Truck Series, finishes in the top 5 in points, and that is a glimpse into NASCAR's future as well. Let's take a look at the Nationwide Series race, and Kenny, you know, this one, the championship was already decided, but still a ton to race for.
Right away, some great cars being damaged. Carl Edwards, Eric Almirola, big teams, Roush Racing, but here we go. Trying to win the car owners championship of Joe Gibbs is Kyle Busch. So he ends up winning the race, outrunning Kevin Harvick.
So 2 checkered flags have been waved so far, and Kyle Busch has claimed both of them. So he has another possibility for a sweep as he takes yet another bow. And if he could win this week at this Cup race as well, he could claim history once again. But it is Brad Keselowski, BK22, is your 2010 Series champion. So congratulations to BK. Carl Edwards, 445 behind. Then it's Busch, Allgaier, Paul Menard, Kevin Harvick was in the top 10, as well as Trevor Bayne, Logano, Jason Leffler, and Steve Wallace. We got to take another quick break here on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, but we are just barely firing our engines. When we come back, a historical look at 4-time champion Jimmie Johnson.
We've had a lot of great guests this year, and today we're going out with a bang. Harvick's right-hand man tells us why Kevin's got Denny and Jimmy right where he wants them. And K-Harv, JJ, and Hamlin show us their plans to end up on the championship stage. Then, Joe Gibbs brings his coach speak to the set to give us a pep talk about Hamlin's Cup chances, while JGR's newest hothead lets you know who's in his crosshairs next. Plus, Cousin Carl joins us live and in person to talk about crowd surfing in Phoenix. And Juan Pablo drops a dime on his hunt for Homestead's victory lane. Keep it tuned to Speed for the pre-race chatter you can't live without. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on Speed.
Welcome back to South Florida for the final race of the 2010 season. Last season, Jimmie Johnson made history by winning his 4th consecutive championship. A 5th would be unprecedented as well, but once again, the 48 team is on the brink of NASCAR history.
Jimmie Johnson has won the Daytona 500.
You are my hero.
His first Daytona 500 victory.
48 on the top. Jimmie Johnson's not giving it up. Johnson back in front. Jimmie Johnson wins at Martinsville.
Looking like a practice session for that 48 car right now, with as much of a differential there is between he and that 17 car of Matt Kenseth.
His average finish at Indianapolis had been 25th. Today it's first.
And Jimmie Johnson is the 2006 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion.
We've been in equipment that's been able to win a championship, but we just didn't mature mentally enough as a team. And this year, we did everything right and matured on time.
Jimmie Johnson a lap away from pulling off the trifecta, 3 in a row at Vegas.
Great job, everybody. I could not be prouder. Could not be prouder. Jimmy, you're awesome.
An absolutely brilliant race run by Jimmie Johnson, Chad Knaus, and the team. A championship effort for sure.
I said, you are the man. You are the man.
Proving for the 10th time this year, he is championship material. Jimmy Johnson will win the Checker Auto Parts 500 at Phoenix.
Waving the white flag. Waving the white flag. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
Jimmy Johnson becomes the champion for the second year in a row.
You guys are awesome. Thank you, boys. We're going to tear it up tonight.
Now I'm finding that, you know, if I need to re-rack my goals and try to look at other things to do and win more races and try to compete for more championships.
Jimmy Johnson is a second-half driver. We saw it a year ago, and we're seeing it here today.
Great.
Jimmy Johnson becomes a two-time winner at the Brickyard.
I think maybe they've hit their stride getting ready for this chase.
Jimmy Johnson trying to pick up his 6th win in 2008.
Dominating fashion, the championship chase continues for Jimmy Johnson. He wins at the Phoenix International Raceway.
You know, I've got a great opportunity to do something special, and you know, just gonna take Sunday as it comes and try to get some good sleep between now and then and focus on the right things and go to work.
And Jimmy Johnson wins his 3rd consecutive NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship.
Jimmy Johnson has made history in equaling Cale Yarborough's mark.
Jimmy Johnson's got to drive it like he stole it. Jimmy Johnson wins at Martinsville on the 25th anniversary of Hendrick Motorsports' first win.
Used to this stuff is what we need to do all year.
Jimmy Johnson becomes a 3-time winner at the Brickyard 400. The guy who is chasing history in NASCAR has done it tonight at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Jimmy Johnson gets the win. The 3-time and defending NASCAR Sprint Cup champion wins the 3rd year in a row here at Phoenix.
I want to be out there on that track hungry. I think that I race better that way. I think the team performs better that way.
And there is Jimmy Johnson 1 lap away from making history. November night in 2009, Jimmy Johnson is a 4-time Cup winner. Jimmy Johnson has won his 4th consecutive NASCAR Sprint Cup title.
Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, all things must come to an end. The one thing we don't know is whether or not Jimmy Johnson will continue that streak and get an unprecedented 5th championship in a row. But Jeff Hammond, we do know for sure that he has been on an incredible tear lately.
An incredible tear. I mean, a lot of people keep talking about the 4 in a row, JR, but go back to 2003 when he finished 2nd. Same thing in 04. This team, including this year, 8 years in a row, they have been in contention to win a title. Now, he's won 4 in a row, but they just keep coming back and they keep raising the bar. He stays hungry. And the most impressive thing we were discussing earlier today is the fact that Jimmy Johnson, even though he's won 4 straight championships, Steve Burns, he's still coachable. He's still listening to Chad Knaus and taking that encouragement, whatever type of help he can get to get him to, you know, have a good finish or get to victory lane and win championships.
And he's still hungry.
He is.
And the thing about Jimmy Johnson that, you know, people have said, is it bad for the sport if he wins it again? Is he too vanilla? I just think Jimmy Johnson is comfortable in his own skin. He's not trying to be anybody else. He's not trying to be a good guy or a bad guy. He's just Jimmy Johnson.
Amen.
I think what would make this championship so special and would set it aside from these first 4, and I think maybe even earn him more credibility, is the fact this would be a come from behind. Those first 4, he came in here, as I said earlier, just having to finish 20th or better or 15th or better. I think what would set this aside is he's going to have to race for this one, Hermie Sadler.
Well, you're right, Larry, and right now the 48 car in the garage. Chad Knaus has been here. He just left about a couple of minutes ago. But look, fans, we want to show you exactly what's going on right now. They got the 48 car on 4 scales. Now, basically what these are just high-tech bathroom scales, and what they're doing is checking the overall weight of the car, the right side weight of the car, and wedge. We talk about wedge all the time on these racing programs. What is wedge? It is the total amount of weight on the left rear tire and the right front tire in relationship to the entire weight of the car. And crew chief Ron Malik right now is making adjustments to the heights of these cars. How do they check the heights? They put a straight edge along from scale to scale, and as they make adjustments on each corner, just with a simple tape measure, they check all the heights of all 4 corners to make sure it meets NASCAR specifications. But I gotta say, it looks like business as usual for the 48 team, and I really think that's what makes them, you know, one of the favorites. Is they have done this before, they've been there, done that, but it's business as usual. But they are making some final preparations on this 48 car right now before they head through the tech line. Johnny?
Hermie, thanks a lot. We will hear live from Jimmie Johnson in about an hour from now, but in a matter of a couple of minutes, we will hear live from Kevin Harvick, the 3rd guy in points right now, but definitely a championship contender. And if anybody's writing off this 29 car, you better not do it yet. There's a lot of racing to go.
This is the closest chase in history, and these 3 have been near the top all year long. We'll show you how Denny, Jimmy, and Kevin took the circuit by storm and made this year's Dash for the Cup the best ever. Stay tuned. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on speed.
Welcome back to Race Day, everyone. In the year 2001, a young driver from Bakersfield, California, got one of the biggest assignments ever handed out in NASCAR, fill the seat of the legendary Dale Earnhardt. Kevin Harvick has proved he's a winner. Now he has a chance to prove he is capable of a Sprint Cup championship.
To understand the story of the 2010 Race to the Chase for Kevin Harvick, it's important to know his backstory.
Harvick's getting a run off turn 4. It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line.
Do what you got to do, baby. Daytona 500. Come on. Come on.
Here they come. Checkered flag. Harvick.
Man, you just won the Daytona 500. Hell yeah, baby. Woo! Yeah.
Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500.
But then, the winning suddenly stopped.
Go low, go low, go low. Stay in it, stay in it, stay in it. We're in it, boys.
Dark days descended on the number 29 team, and they struggled to remain a top contender. But 2010 would prove to be a different story. Harvick and company would find redemption and propel the team back into championship contention.
Last chance through the trial.
Here he comes.
Here they come.
Harvick. It's Harvick. He got him.
Awesome job, guys. Awesome job. I mean, that played out to the T, to the pass on the last lap. Where you wanted to be.
Obviously, we've made a few management changes with Scott Miller becoming the competition director and kind of using a little bit different direction with our engineering department. I think the rock of the whole foundation has been the engine department. They've been good year in and year out. Just the biggest difference is just getting a different direction with our cars, and it worked out for us this year.
After grabbing the Cup Series points lead in week number 10, Harvick continued his resurgence at Daytona.
No one stepping out of line, and Clint Boyer gets turned halfway down the back straightaway. He'll spin wildly to the bottom of the racetrack.
We don't have a caution. No caution. We'll see if they let him race back to the line, and it appears they will.
It'll be Kevin Harvick picking up the win in the Coke 0400.
Hell yeah, guys. Hell yeah.
Let's do what we got to do in here today. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right, here comes Harvick. He's got to run.
Here comes the challenge for the lead. Hamlin, the race leader, with Kevin Harvick working the outside lane.
The 29 team's 3rd win of the year was a dominant performance at a track where Harvick had yet to score a victory.
Good job, bud. Oh, thank you, Richard. Great freaking job.
I think it sends a message in the chase. Doing a lot right.
And despite not scoring a win in the chase, consistency and hard work have kept the 29 team in position for a shot at RCR's 7th Cup championship and a return to the sport's pinnacle for the first time since 1994.
No pressure at all for Kevin Harvick to follow those footsteps of Dale Earnhardt Sr. and get a championship today for RCR. Kevin, you've had a lot of interaction with the fans. What would that mean to you and representing, so to speak, the Dale Earnhardt Sr. fans?
Well, I think, this week has been awesome just to see the support from our, our core fans and all the extra fans that have come and just supported everybody from RCR and myself and the whole team. So it's going to be fun to go out and race today, and I think for RCR in general, obviously it would be it's been a long time, and I think it's something that everybody's worked very hard to at least have a shot at, so it's going to be fun.
Of all three chasers, I think I've been most entertained by your quotes this week going into the season finale, because really, you have nothing to lose. You can't lose third place. You have everything to gain, so it kind of gives you an advantage to these guys.
Yeah, I mean, we can go race hard from lap one and go do what we have to do, and I feel like our car is really good today. It was good yesterday. I feel like we learned a couple things in the nationwide race last night, and we're racing during the day, so I like that part of it.
All right, I know you probably have the mental advantage there with throwing out some jabs throughout the week, but what is going to happen once this race starts? You're starting 28th, new race car, new engine package from 2011 that you're starting this weekend. How do you think about all this, how it's going to work out?
I just go race. It really doesn't bother me at all. I just go out and do what I have to do, and I know that they're going to do a good job on pit road, and if we're off, we'll make the adjustments, and it's going to be a race that's probably run a lot high, and you're probably going to see a lot of cars scrape the wall, so we got to be up on the wheel every lap to make sure that we pay attention to what's going on.
All right, well, if you looked at Kevin Harvick on the chart in happy hour, he was deep. However, he was the fastest of those three on the lap tracker, on the fastest average throughout race runs. And for more on the 29 car, let's head over to Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, thanks, Wendy. The 29 car sits in the garage behind me. We just updated you on the 48 car. Gil Martin is up in front of the car with the guys. Same thing here. They're going over the final height adjustments on this car, weight adjustments, and unbelievable. I'm even getting an education myself on the technology that has improved with these, the way they set these cars up before they go through the NASCAR tech line. But nothing real major going on here. They feel very calm, cool, and collected. They are very confident, as Wendy said, in their race car. So just final preparations. I expect about 5 more minutes. They'll be down and through tech, but they've already run the engine, set the timing. One thing I did find that was interesting, though, and Kyle Petty can add on this, most of the teams put a set of setup tires, a standard set of Goodyear setup tires to go through the scales. They did that. Then Gil Martin had them actually put the set of sticker tires that Kevin Harvick will start today's race on to put it back on the scales and check everything again. So just double checking here in the 29 garage, Kyle.
Yeah, and that's a great point. These guys are going to the nth degree by taking the setup tires off and putting the real tires, the tires that they'll be racing. That way they know exactly where their adjustments are. We see them talk about 3/16. We see them talk about Packers and things like that. They want to know exactly where they're at. But this is what I want to say about the 29 team. You know, we look at the Hendrick organization. We look at the Gibbs organization. We hearken back to the Childress organization and the memory of Dale Earnhardt Sr. Let's be true about this and honest. This is Kevin Harvick's team. This is Kevin Harvick in the 29. This is Richard Childress in 2010. This is the only blue-collar team in the top 3. That's what separates them. Kevin Harvick puts it all on the line. He says it honestly in the press conferences, and he does it on the racetrack day in and day out. He goes out with that work ethic, he and Gil and Childress, and they go at it, go at it, go at it. If we were under the old point system, they're your champions right now. Those guys are your champions because they put together the last 10 races as good as they put together the 26. The chase has thrown them back into third, but they're going to be really strong today. You know, the person that Kevin Harvick has become should be applauded. And let me tell you why. Not just is he a scrapper on the racetrack, meaning he'll rough it up with anybody. He's not afraid of anybody. He has a team to back him up. But the businessman has surprised the whole garage area. Kevin Harvick has a shop, KHI, Kevin Harvick Incorporated. Race fans, he's building nationwide cars for other teams. He's building trucks for other teams. So besides him being a great race car driver and a scrapper, he's also a great business mind. Very seldom do you get both. And we're getting that with Kevin Harvick. He's becoming more respected in the garage area for becoming a car owner. And that's why Richard Childress has announced that he will use Kevin Harvick to field his nationwide cars. So Kevin Harvick's going to go a long way in this sport.
And let's not forget, it happens on the racetrack a lot when first and second are battling. Sometimes that third place person can sneak up and get a victory. It could happen in the championship as well. Coming up a little later on in the show, we're going to have a great story you're going to want to stay around for as Kevin Harvick will explain to us how this whole 29 group got together.
he knew the position he was getting into, and he knew the respect the racing community and the world had for Dale Earnhardt.
I think Kevin struggled a little bit with not only how to be his own person, but how does he create that identity without feeling like he's trying to, push aside Dale?
NASCAR fans, when this historic weekend at Homestead is over, our NASCAR coverage will still be running strong. Tune in to NASCAR Race Hub tomorrow for the ultimate recap of Homestead and a celebration of the season and our 2010 champion and Danica Patrick as well tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, only on Speed. Now, the Race Hub is your source for news, but only here on race day can you get this kind of hard-hitting journalism. We have uncovered that there might be a connection between the no testing policy and the baby population in the motor coach area, and no one other than Rutledge Wood could handle this hard-hitting assignment.
No testing equals great for families, great for sport. It's probably helping the population, yes.
Do you remember back when you guys used to have to test all the time?
Yes, I do remember that.
What was that like?
That's tough. That's a lot of days away from home.
The testing ban has probably given us a little bit of extra time.
I have been home a lot more lately. It's been really nice.
Seems like this year almost everybody that has been a part of the NASCAR baby boom has had girls.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. People say that that's because of being in the hot cars all the time. I don't understand that, but I think that girls are great.
I don't want to sound like I'm talking trash, but Carl Edwards said his daughter is going to be faster on a big wheel than your daughter.
I think Ella's going to be tough to beat no matter what she's doing. I'll put her up against anybody, I'll tell you that.
You hear that, Carl? Jimmy? Jeff's in.
Mine's a little behind, so I'm going to have to claim that the age bracket will have to be fair and honest with that, but I will start working on a big wheel now so that we can kick the Edwards butt.
Thanks, Rutledge.
Guys are at the place in their life in the sport where they're ready to start a family, I think, more than anything else.
So you're maturing, is what you're saying.
Well, I can't speak for every other driver out there, but I know I'm not maturing.
We're all around our early 30s now, kind of deal, so we all feel like we're kind of mature enough to have a kid. And maybe the testing played into it. Good job, NASCAR.
Certainly with all my friends having babies and getting to see the excitement that's brought into their life, I'm really looking forward to Christy and I getting to have that same moment.
Do you guys want to have a big family?
Yes, we want to have a big family.
So you don't want testing to come back?
Testing would probably make that more difficult, yes. This is not scientific by any means, but I would rather not test, and I would like to have a big family.
I think the lack of testing probably does definitely give us some more free time that we might not have.
Well, good luck to you guys. Sam Hornish, they're having their second. And I guess the word on the street is there may be some more testing next year. So the question we're going to find out, does testing truly have an effect on the big NASCAR baby boom?
I think you answered that question, but also besides all those babies, me and Tony Stewart, we look pregnant, but we're not really pregnant.
Don't be confused. Tony Stewart does not have a child. I know we showed him there holding the baby. He loves babies, but he doesn't have one.
And besides popular rumors, he's not pregnant either.
Oh, you said that.
That's right. John said
He
that.
knows.
John Roberts said that.
He knows I'm just kidding. Well,
He is Santa Claus, though.
There will be some. There will be some testing going on. Sorry about that. Sprint Cup testing is coming back to the Daytona International Speedway, and we will have it covered for you only on Speed. The 20th through the 22nd, and down there at Daytona, they will also have the Fan Fest as well. So make your plans to go down there. You can see your favorite driver up close and personal, and also check out Sprint Cup Series testing. We're going to take another quick break here, but when we come back, Carl Edwards, among others, will come by and talk to us about this race and about the championship chase that is coming down to the wire here, as there is one to go next time by.
NASCAR's Have At It mantra gave us plenty of great moments. And a year-end broadcast isn't complete without showing you all of them. We've got the season's post bump and grind moments. From Carl and Brad to Jeff and Jeff, and everything in between. Straight ahead, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on Speed.
Last week in Phoenix, although Carl Edwards was not running for the championship, he looked like he was in championship form as he broke a winless streak that dated back 2 years, 2 full seasons of racing since we've seen Carl Edwards do the backflip after a Sprint Cup Series race, and he was so excited he took the flag and did his now historical and traditional run into the crowd. Let's go to Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, catching up with Carl Edwards, and I want to talk about today, but let's go back last weekend first, sweeping a weekend, and happy to get back to victory lane. Not only nationwide, Carl, but I know you want to get back into victory lane with that Cup car.
Yeah, it was huge. It was great for Aflac, for Ford. You know, John Force won the Funny Car Championship the same day, and we won the Nationwide, the Cup, and this week has been one of the best weeks of my career. It's just been a lot of fun. Everybody's really amped up. We're hoping to run here at Ford Championship Weekend and really well and get another win for Ford and for our team. But either way you cut it, our team is on an upswing. Roush Fenway's doing well. And, you know, this racetrack's really good for us. The fact that we're running in the sun today, I think it's going to change things a little bit. I think it plays into our strengths, and just ready to go race.
And this has kind of been in the works. It didn't just, you guys didn't go, win out of nowhere. I mean, your whole team and whole organization has been making progress. Got to make you feel good about not only today, but what the prospects are to get back in championship form for next year.
Right. You know, somebody brought it up in the media center. I thought they made a good point. You know, they asked how I felt now versus 2 years ago, and I think actually we're in a better position now at the end of 2010 to go into 2011 than we were coming off of our 9 wins in 2008 going into 2009. And it's because of what you just said. There's a lot going into this. We're on an upswing. Greg Biffle's running well. Matt's running really well. Drew and David are picking things up. And it's just good to be in a Ford, good to be at Roush Fenway right now.
You're a championship driver, been in this thing a couple times. A handicap for us as a fan, the 3 guys that are in contention, and do you have any, from what you saw on the racetrack this weekend, any idea how you think that'll play out?
I have no clue. From what I saw last night, I think that the on-track action, I think that the grip level that's out there, the low grip, the potential for disaster, I think that could have be a big factor in it, a wreck or some sort of mistake. And I think that you got to give the nod to Jimmy just because he's starting up front. I think coming through the field here is going to be a little bit difficult. But once those guys are all up front, I mean, you can't tell who's going to win this thing.
And Carl got his weekend start off having a little bit of fun Thursday night, playing the guitar with the Zach Brown band. So we don't have video of that, and Carl's probably happy about that.
I don't know about that. Carl can play. Maybe we'll get him up there with KP sometime and Zach Brown. We'll have a lot of fun there. Well, now we have another championship that still has yet to be settled, and that's the Speed Fantasy Racing Cup Edition. Team Race Day has a very slight lead over the NASCAR Race Hub, so we are going to lean on our friend Carl Edwards to help us get this thing done. So we got Carl Edwards out of the A group. How about Mark the Kid Martin from the B group and Bobby Labonte? What it's going to come down to is Mark Martin outrunning Joey Logano to have us beat the Race Hub. So keep an eye on that. That's another story within the stories. One of the most popular drivers down here in South Florida is definitely Juan Pablo Montoya, and he's with one of the most popular reporters, Wendy Venturini.
Oh, you're so sweet, Johnny. Thank you. Yes, he has quite the following in this area and many other areas, but nonetheless, Juan Pablo Montoya. Are you enjoying this weekend and looking forward to possibly getting this victory at Homestead Miami Speedway today?
I'll tell you the truth, I think this target Chevy has been really strong. Last week I thought we had it, and kind of surprised when we ran out of gas and they didn't. But it's racing. You know, this weekend is always special. You know, we have B-Live event on Thursday. Some of the drivers went there and supported us. That was really nice. And, you know, it's pretty cool. With the truck, we have a ticket package as well. And this morning I was with a ton of fans. So it's always cool. You know, it's always good. The weather is nice. And I'm looking forward for a good race.
And that gala event on Thursday, you honored Kyle Petty. You and your wife did. That was very nice. So when we come to Miami, I'm sure you have this huge following. I was just talking about all these appearances you've had going on. Is it a little overwhelming when you come to your hometown?
It's a big Target weekend, so there's a lot of people here from Target, but it's fun. You know, it's the last race of the year. Everybody's pumped up. Everybody, in one side, everybody wants the season to be over. The other side, you know, we're starting to run better, and, you know, we just got to try to keep that momentum rolling, so it should be fun.
All right, we'll look forward to Juan Pablo Montoya getting a win in the season finale, and we also have the surprise visit by Chip Ganassi. You have had an amazing 2010 season. You've got to be just gloating when you walk through this garage area. And what a way to finish off the 2010 season and possibly get another victory. How sweet would that be, Chip?
It would be, Wendy, I'll tell you. You know, a lot of times these chase races are sometimes a little, you know, they're a little easier to do good in than the regular season, because you have guys that just have to do something, and they just want to do that, whereas, you know, it leaves it wide open for the win. So I'll tell you, we were here, you know, a month or so ago for the IndyCar finale and won the championship there. So we're hoping to come out of here with a good result today.
All right, well, we look forward to it. Thanks for making a surprise visit, and no doubt, Johnny, that Chip Ganassi and this whole entire organization wants to finish here at Homestead on a high note.
Wendy, thanks a lot. We still have so much more to come on this edition of NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. They could be the 4 most famous words in auto racing right now. And we're not talking about gentlemen, start your engines. Actually, that's 5, I think. Anyway, we'll do the math when we come back. We know them affectionately as JHE, but J. Howard Enterprises is a small army of dedicated and talented people who put on a show every week. And they have 78 full-time staffers, 50 total people, and they provide the backdrop for us here at Speed for driver intros as well, pre- and post-race. But perhaps their tour de force throughout the year is the championship platform they will unveil after the race today. It is portable. They bring it down the front stretch in front of the fans, and our champion will have a place to celebrate thanks to JHE today, and thanks to those folks for helping us here at Speed throughout the year. They could be the most famous 4 words in NASCAR racing. Have at it, boys. That's provided for a lot of fun on the track lately, and also a lot of discussion off the track in 2010.
It's like a basketball game. It's like a referee. It's got a whistle. He's whistle happy. Now that's all off the table. Folks, they're going to let it be.
They're going at it, guys. I mean, literally. Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton are doing battle here, kind of like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier in the old days. Learn how to ride.
All right, I'll dare you every time I get around you, though. Don't touch you.
Trouble on the front stretch. A car has slammed the wall, and that is the machine of Brad Keselowski. And that car got up on its roof.
I think this was Carl Edwards' payback for what happened earlier in this race.
I don't know if I'm okay.
They're going to allow people to intentionally wreck each other at tracks this fast. We will hurt someone either in the cars or in the grandstands.
Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson touch coming out of turn number 4 momentarily. You can see the donut on the right side of his car. 4 times a little upset. I guess they thought you got into him, I guess. He's treated different than everybody else.
I'm disappointed, but I'll get over it, and so will he.
I guess he got out and said he was disappointed, so since I have my chance, I can equally say I was pretty disappointed with him today.
Juan Pablo Montoya spins in turn 3. He collects Kurt Busch, also Jamie McMurray.
One just wrecked us. Hold on, a lot more coming here.
Every time I'm around, he wants to run the out of me. And I'm sure when the radio, I didn't mean that, but he's just trying to prove people he can drive a race car, and I guess he's not doing too many favors in this team.
You guys probably shouldn't put a lot of stock into what he said when you ask somebody something immediately after getting crashed. They typically don't have nice things to say.
Oh, he put a block on him in the wall. He put him in the wall. Somebody better keep me away from Denny Hamlin after this race. I swear to God, I'm going to kill that all his fault. I had this race won. It was won.
This is going to be a very unhappy young man right here, by the way.
That's actually the 11 hauler he's walking up into.
Kyle.
Oh, now Logano goes around. Harvick gets into him. Logano trying to save it. An amazing save.
He let me go in the middle of the straightaway and decided to dump me in the next turn. I don't know what his deal is with me, but it's probably not his fault. His wife wears a fire suit and family tells him what to do, so it's probably not his fault.
Martin Truex Jr. goes around on the front bumper of Jeff Gordon. I don't give a shit. I'm going to wreck them both. Seriously, I'm going to wreck them. Bye-bye, Jeff and Juan. Harvick slides by, takes the lead as he pulls down in front of his teammate. So tired of that motherfucker cut me off. I'm telling you, Gil, he's out of mulligan. The hole is there. I filled the hole. I will not put up with it. I'm a good teammate, and I'm not going to take him running into me. Either I'm the world's worst driver making a motor look bad, or we're just that bad. Don't lay down on me, bud. Keep digging. Get on the wheel. I don't ever lay down. Don't holler at me about that over the radio anyway, for the whole world to hear.
Can you please smack the out of the 77 spotter? I would really, really enjoy that if you did.
The 24 is just like a little girl, I swear to God. Every time I hit him, he's waving his hand out the window like a baby. Kyle Busch didn't quite get away unscathed, and Kyle Busch got busted.
Said unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's freedom of speech. They're going against the constitutional rights of everybody. Kyle, stop! Please! And we all work too hard for this. You're costing us. Bring it to zero. Get for 2 laps.
48 is testing my patience, I can tell you that. It takes a lot to make me mad, and I'm pissed right now.
When you motor off, coast as much as you can, bud. You know how to do it. Uh-oh. What's going on here? Ambrose stopped on the track.
They're putting us behind the 9, and I don't know why.
Hey, what the hell?
Trouble behind you. Big wreck behind you.
Oh, no, no. More.
Here we go.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
Oh, trouble in turn number 1. Upside down is A.J. Allmendinger. Over and over. Trouble up in turn number 4. Bill Elliott around and into the outside wall, right in front of Gordon.
21 is right in the middle of the racetrack. 7 is poverty.
Casey Kane spinning down to the inside of the racetrack. He is up and into the air. Greg Biffle's involved. Truex, Newman, Ambrose, Jeff Gordon, and Clomenard in the peaks as the field winds up on the long punch straightaway.
Get his bottom. Get his bottom.
No.
Easy.
Brad Keselowski, driver of the Penske Racing Dodge. Kyle Busch is in.
Kyle, what was your thought about Keselowski's little pre-race declaration?
Who?
It is hard to believe that all that happened just in the year 2010, but Darrell Waltrip, it did, and it was very entertaining.
You know, JR, that's the way it was back in the day. People want to know what it was like back in the day, but I believe that boys have at it. That attitude could be the X factor today. You heard Kevin Harvick say in his press conference, I'll do what I have to do. That's a little on the edgy side to me. And I tell you, when you're starting that far back, like the 11 and the 29 are, you're going to rough up some people. You're going to ruffle up some feathers trying to get to the front. They better be careful because some of these guys turn their brain. They got a switch on the dash. It's a brain switch. It's called a no-brainer. And they turn it off. Watch out.
And what's amazing about the Have At It boys, I think when Robin Pemberton said that back in January, I'm not sure exactly what happened on race 4 at Atlanta was just what they had in mind with the Carl Edwards and the Brad Keselowski deal. But the thing that has amazed me, and I think that featured well documented it, is the issues between teammates. It started way back at Las Vegas with Montoya and McMurray. Of course, we know all the things that went on early in the season between Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, and then you look at Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, and most recently, even in the chase, 2 teammates in the chase, Steve, Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick. That's been the amazing thing, is how many teammates we've seen at each other.
Well, it's been exciting to watch this year, but Jeff, do you think that could actually play out today?
Why not? I mean, I think we've been surprised a little bit all year long about how things have kind of unfolded. So why not today in Homestead? I mean, there's a lot of people, I think Larry touched on it, so did Darrell, the fact there's some guys that are thinking, hey, he did this to me one other time before. I'm not going to let him do it because it's the last race of the year, so it could get very interesting. And the bad thing about it, Steve, is our chase contenders could wind up getting caught up in somebody else's mess. Or the other side of the equation is, how does this really chess match as it starts to start at the beginning of this race? How's it going to play out? Is one of their RCR cars going to stay out to keep somebody like maybe the 11 car staying out to try to lead a lap and get bonus points? There's going to be a lot of gamesmanship today, and it could trigger really a lot of opposite and crazy reactions, Kenny. I mean, you just never know what this race is going to bring out today. It's really going to be unpredictable.
You know, Jeff, one thing I want to make a point about is we say to ourselves, where did these words come from? Boys have at it. Where did it come from? It was you, the fans. Remember, the NASCAR Fan Council has 16,000 people, and they polled them, and they said, fans, what's wrong with our sport? The fans said, you won't let these drivers be themselves. Let them be like Darrell Waltrip used to be, Cale, Donnie, Rusty Wallace, and Dale Earnhardt throwing water bottles at each other. So congratulations to you fans. Remember, and always remember this, NASCAR listened to you. You were the fans that said, we want boys have at it. NASCAR gave it to you, and it's a great show.
Now we need to bring in some of the folding chairs.
Yeah,
like in a pro wrestling, whack each other over the head with the no, let's not do the folding chairs. That's a bad idea. We got so much more coming your way on this edition of NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. The crew chiefs have to make sure exactly that everything is correct. Today, there is Mike Ford, Chad Knaus, and when we come back, the Chad will have our Sunoco pit strategy of the weekend for us. After the checkered flag is waved, be sure to check out NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, and catch all of the race highlights and raw emotions straight from Victory Lane. Also, go to speed.com, keyword Sunoco, to enter for your chance to win an autographed flag signed by the winner of today's race. Now, crew chief Chad Knaus has been on top of the pit box for all 4 of Jimmy Johnson's championships, but as he tells us in this week's edition of the Sunoco Pit Strategy of the Week, that we all are getting used to change.
So far this year, everybody's used to change. We've gone from the wing to the spoiler. We've gone from random start times to consistent start times. Well, Homestead this weekend's no different. We've got a different tire than what we've had here in the past, and we have the consistent starting time. We're starting at 1 o'clock. In the past, we always started late afternoon and gone into the evening hours for this race. So that means that the track consistently got cooler and faster and gained grip as you got to the end of the race. Well, this week, since we're starting at 1 o'clock, you're going to be going into a little bit of a hotter track temp condition and then starting to cool off till about 4:30, and that's when the race is going to stop. So the drivers and crew chiefs are really going to have to monitor what's going on with the racetrack to make sure they have the best setup for the end of the race. You go about 55 laps on a Sunoco fuel run, and there's a lot of ways that you can win this race, guys. We saw Carl Edwards really back down his pace and win this a couple of years ago on fuel mileage. We've seen a lot of guys just get on all-out speed. This weekend's going to be no different. There's going to be a lot of random strategies out there and a lot of guys going for broke, particularly 3 guys that we all know about. Now, I just want to go in closing and say thank you guys for watching this year, and I can't wait to see you again in Daytona.
Chad, thanks a lot. Let's take a ride with Denny Hamlin as he examines the low groove of this racetrack, drivers.
Well, we always think Denny Hamlin loves the low groove, Kyle Petty. Here he is on the white line, and this is a fast way around the racetrack. Only on new tires.
Only on new tires because there's grip there. We heard Carl Edwards say earlier it's going to be a daytime race and the racetrack has lost a lot of grip. This is where Mark Martin ran last year. He lived and died by the bottom groove. He stayed right on this groove. The racetrack is flatter. This racetrack's like a bowl. It goes up, it gets steeper as you go up. If your car is a little tight, you can go to the bottom, and we heard Hermie talk earlier about wedge. It knocks some of the wedge out of the car and frees the car up.
Now let's take a ride with Kevin Harvick, another one of the championship contenders, and see where he likes to run on the track.
At this time in practice, Kevin Harvick's tires are wore out. So he goes all the way to the high groove, down the back straightaway, the palm trees on your right side. Here we are in southern Florida. Boom, into turn 1. He enters high. But Kyle, he's got to leave himself room. Like he said, you know, I could hit the wall. So here he goes and tries the bottom groove. I guess you could say it's a groovy racetrack.
Very groovy, baby, as we see Kevin Harvick again complete another lap. Practice was so important throughout the course of this thing. But Kyle, you touched on it briefly. Progressive banking at this racetrack. As you go up on the racetrack, the banking gets more steep, and that provides these guys with the opportunity to run all over this racetrack. But also, as you look at your championship contenders, it gives them a chance to get up through the field because you've got guys all over the place.
Yeah, it's all over the place. We see guys 3 and 4 wide when we get to the corner, and that's pretty cool. There's guys all the way up next to the wall, all the way on the bottom. It is progressive. We saw some stuff in the nationwide race, the patented slide move that you see on dirt tracks and short tracks. Guys would go in low knowing that that bank would catch them when they got to the top. The one thing the progressive bank does is if your car does not work on the bottom, you can find a groove where your car can work. And that's good for these contenders because they can move around and bide their time until they can get to the pit to change.
And because this racetrack, I mean, we're in Key West, basically. Matter of fact, some of the teams stay down here. It feels like the sun is closer here. I don't know if it is or not, but it is hot down here. And I believe, Kyle, that this racetrack is a lot like Darlington. There will be no 2-tire stop unless there's some type of desperation move. It's going to be 4 tires every time somebody comes in because this racetrack is hot and it's wore out.
So often this season we have seen races won and lost in the pits. So today it is very conceivable that the championship could be either won or lost in the pits. For more on that, let's go to Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny. We made a big deal on this program today and pretty much all season long about the importance of a good pit stall selection. We talked about Jimmy Johnson. He's in pit stall 22. He's got the 66 behind him and an opening in front of him. Now, why is that a big deal? If there's a car pitted right in front of me, what I've got to do is move this stop line right here. This is where Jimmy wants to stop his left front tire. If I got a car in front of me, I've got to move this line back. I've got to ask Jimmy to short pit. What does that do? That makes all of my jackman and my tire carriers have to run further back in the pit box before they even start hitting the lug nuts. But being that Jimmy has an opening in front of him on pit road, we can move this line further in the pit box. We can start our pit stop sooner. But the biggest advantage too, once Jimmy finishes his pit work on pit road, he can go straight out and get back on pit lane and gain spots rather than having to drive around a car that's right in front of him. So this opening on pit road is an advantage for a lot of reasons. And one other thing about this pit box I noticed, It's right in front of Victory Lane. Wendy?
How convenient for Jimmy Johnson. Well, for our points leader, Denny Hamlin, he's in pit stall number 38. Behind him, the 9 car of Eric Almirola. With this qualifying effort of 37th, he's a little bit deeper, closer to turn 4 here on pit road. Now on the pit box, this is the exact seat where Mike Ford will sit and make all those calls today. Talk about some key personnel next to him. You have the team engineer, who they call Wheels, will be sitting right here, and the car chief, who they call Spider, will sit right next to them, giving key information. And as we move down the pit stall, right in front of the 11 car is the 17 of Matt Kenseth. So what does that mean on pit road? Well, he is blocked in by 2 different manufacturers of race cars, and will it make a difference on pit road? A strategy for Mike Ford possibly could be to short pit. So Jeff Hammond, I question that to you. What can the 11 car do? What can they do with starting 37th and so deep? Is it something that they do have to make a call here on pit road to get that track position?
Yes, I think there is that opportunity right there, but I think one of the things that Mike Ford is going to be looking at, Wendy, starting so deep in the field, early caution flag, and whether or not guys come to pit road and possibly staying out or coming to pit road to kind of get off sequence. If everybody comes down pit road, they've got a golden opportunity. Since they won't gain that much, on pit road, they could easily come in and maybe opt to do 2 tires to get track position, or they could also opt to stay out, lead a lap, and get those bonus points, and again, work their way back through the field. A lot of strategy will go into what's going to happen today, and as this track, changes and as we go through the rest of the race, you're going to see different opportunities, Larry, that are going to be presented. Making that call on pit road, I think, is what we're going to see for win this championship this year, and that's another reason why I've been leaning a lot toward Chad Knaus. He's been there. He's made a lot of, calls during the course of his career that really have helped that 48 car not only win championships, but win races when it matters the most.
Yeah, what I have seen here so far, and I saw it in the Nationwide Series race, we saw it in the practice we did yesterday, staying out or changing this right side tires will be a very short-term gain, because this place has almost become like the old Darlington. We saw yesterday in 10 to 15 laps over a second give up. I go back to last year when they finished this race at night with a lot more grip than they have today. Kurt Busch lost this race because of going with 2 tires, but we do know, if you go back to 2 years ago, Darrell, when Carl Edwards won this race, it can be won on fuel mileage, just like he won Phoenix last week as well.
It can be won on fuel mileage. The other 2 things to remember, you got 2 ways to stay in this race. Bad call on pit road, you get the wave around. That could be a deciding factor. And the lucky dog. It's going to be a good team and a good car has got ways of getting themselves back in this race if they should have some sort of problem. Pitting before the leader does and the caution come out, take the wave around. So there are some options that these guys have that they haven't had in the past.
Darrell, thanks a lot. It's always good to have our friends around down on the beach, but it's also good to have friends on the racetrack as well. It's even better to have teammates. So if this thing comes down to the wire, could there be team orders out on the racetrack? Don't count that out. We'll talk about that when we come back. Well, Jack Burns said it on Meet the Parents. Wherever you go, we'll be watching you. And NASCAR is watching with well-placed cameras on the start-finish line and at the entrance and exit of pit road. Not only do these cameras help set the field and decide outcomes, but they also let the fans know exactly what is going on, and they can determine the outcome of a race within 60 seconds. They are operated by NASCAR officials, and they are a vital part to making sure that the competition is fair on the racetrack. Well, Jeff Hammond may have friends in low places, but the championship contenders have friends in high places. Here are the teammates of the championship contenders and where they will start. And Kyle Petty, we've talked about it all morning long. You got to have friends out there. And if it comes down to it, let's say that, Joey Logano's running somewhere and Denny Hamlin's behind him. It could come down to the fact, say, hey, Joey, move over because we got a championship to win here. Could that happen?
Yes, that could happen. And if you're sitting at home and you don't believe that it happened, change the channel. Let me tell you, teammates are going to play a big thing in this. Not only the teammates that we just saw on the screen there, the Gibbs teammates, the Hendrick teammates, and the Childress teammates. How much do we talk about affiliations and how other teams are associated with Childress, how other teams are associated with Hendrick, how other teams are associated with those deals? So I'm telling you something. Look for cautions. Look for a lot of strange things to go on today, because if it comes down to it, teammates are going to play a role.
The biggest thing, guys, is we go back to what we were talking about earlier. When you look at those 7 teammates to these 3 drivers going for this championship, 5 of them are on that list of drivers still looking for their very first win. I talked to Alan Gustafson, crew chief for Mark Martin, earlier this week, and he said, you know, the best way we can help our teammate is run good. If we're running 20th, there is nothing we can do. And the point he made is Jimmy Johnson finished 5th at Phoenix. Denny Hamlin finished 12th. One reason Denny Hamlin was 12th, Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon finished in front of Denny Hamlin. He said that's the best way that we can help our teammates here in this final race.
And Larry, I don't want to hear about what you did last year. I don't care what you did last year. Too many things have changed. Everybody said, well, Hamlin started 37th last year, 38th, and so he will be able to come from that. That was last year. This is for a championship. This is not just to win a race. So don't tell me about what you did last year.
And let me give you an example of teammates. Let's mock this scenario. Jeff Gordon running 3rd in the race or 4th, and all of a sudden you have Jimmy Johnson behind him late in the going. What happens if Jimmy Johnson needs 5 points to win this championship? Oh, Jeff Gordon goes in there, gets up the wall a little bit, boom, Jimmy Johnson passes him. If you don't think that can happen, it will happen. It better happen. That's why we have teammates, and you hear them all say, we've got to help our teammate win the championship. It can easily be done.
Yep, and there's a lot on the line here, a lot of pride, but also a big check and a huge trophy. So who knows what might go on the way to our 2010 championship. Well, the 4-time defending champion is standing by. He joins us live when NASCAR Race Day rolls on from the Homestead Miami Speedway.
When he first broke onto the scene, Harvick was a guy replacing a legend. 9 years later, he's one of the circuit's best. Title or not today, he's done RCR proud. And we'll show you how Kevin's risen from beneath Senior's shadow to stand on his own. Heading your way, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on speed.
At one time or another this season, we all thought that Superman may have found some kryptonite. Jimmy Johnson was arguably the least consistent of the 3 championship contenders, but nonetheless, he is still on course for championship number 5.
Jimmy Johnson and the 48 crew entered the 2010 season on top of the NASCAR world. In fact, they've been on top the last 4 years, champions of the Sprint Cup Series. The question entering this season was, could they make it 5?
The season's been it's been good when I look back at the wins, laps led, and certain stats. Look at it and say it's been a great year.
That great year started the second race of the season, and it might have given a hint towards that 5th championship.
El Cajon's Jimmy Johnson, Bakersfield's Kevin Harvick, the 2 California kids are going to go at it here with 3 laps to go for the win.
Checkered flag in the air, and for the 5th time, Jimmy Johnson is a winner at the Auto Club Speedway.
Career win 48 for driver number 48, but the win didn't sit well with a certain fellow driver.
Well, they're really good, but they're really, really lucky too. They have a golden horseshoe stuck up their so it's, I mean, there's no way to get around that.
Johnson's verbal response for Happy Harvick.
Luck didn't have us lead 101 laps. Luck didn't hold off the 29 car. Luck put us in position. They know this 48 team is the real deal.
As well as an on-track response to back it up the very next race.
Johnson trying to win back-to-back races for the 7th time in his career.
Jimmy Johnson will secure his 49th career win as he takes the checkered flag here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Guys, great job in the pits. Jimmy, great work out there, buddy. No luck involved in that one, my friend.
No laps led, and a 12th place finish at Atlanta seemed like a minor blip on the 48 radar, as Johnson would quiet the critics and haters the very next race, doing his own version of the Bristol Stomp.
Jimmy Johnson made all the right moves, and it's Kurt Busch who is going to run out of time. Checkered flag, Jimmy Johnson.
First in points, 3 wins, and 7 top 12s in the first 8 races. The next 5 races seemed to turn that once golden horseshoe into a red bullseye.
And whoa, around goes Jimmy Johnson. He'll take Greg Biffle. Johnson and Biffle around off the end of the back straightaway. Johnson with hard contact.
Then Darlington was too tough to tame.
Now there's a spin. AJ Allmendinger catches Jimmy Johnson. A hard shot into the outside turn 3 wall.
And look at
That
that
48 is junk.
I have never seen a 48 car torn up quite like that.
A track sponsor name change, and it was now Charlotte Motor Speedway, no longer Jimmy's house.
48 for Jimmy Johnson, and he hits hard. It has been a rough season. The first 6 races this year, 3 wins. In the last 6 races, no wins, 2 DNFs, and an average finish of 19th.
It's incredible how many times this car has been wrecked this year, which is highly unusual for that 48 team.
Johnson's up and down season continued throughout the summer. Wins at Infineon and Loudon were offset by finishing outside the top 20 5 times. That, along with a 25th place finish at Loudon to start the chase, could have had dire consequences for other teams, but not the 48.
Jimmy Johnson's going to win chase race number 2.
Nice work, brother. Nice work. Maximum points today, buddy.
Following his win at Dover, Johnson had 5 top 5 finishes in the next 7 races and finished no lower than 9th. Heading to Homestead today, just 15 points behind Denny Hamlin, the drive for 5 continues.
The drive for 5 does continue, and I got to say, Jimmy, to start off with, day starting off great. Your hair couldn't look any better today. Did you do that yourself, or did your wife do that?
No, this is all my creation, good or bad, whatever people think. I'm just happy I have hair to grow. For a while there it was kind of thinning, so I'm glad that it's come back with force.
Well, you got that going for you. Let's talk about this weekend. Obviously, a big weekend for you. We can, talk about what you guys have done in 4 in a row and looking for 5 and all that. But just a tremendous run you guys have had. And I just want to get your initial thoughts going into this race as far as your race team.
Yeah, I could not be more proud of my race team. I mean, when you look at what we've done over the last 9 years, and worst today that we'll finish in the points is 3rd. There's a lot to be proud of. But the flip side of that, there's no doubt that there's a lot of pressure on us to win a 5th championship. And I'm excited to be in this position. I wish that I had the pressure of losing a championship and being in the points lead like Denny is right now. But we've got to go out today and make something happen, and I'm excited for it.
Talk about happy hour a little bit. You spent some time on the racetrack, actually around Denny Hamlin a little bit on the racetrack, kind of not saying sizing up your competition, but you got to see what you're up against, assess what you will learn from that run yesterday.
Yeah, our cars look similar. I think on lap tracker after practice was over, the pace seemed about the same with the 2 cars. It's just one of those ironic things where in practice, as you know, as a driver, you always end up around guys on certain weekends. Just that you start, I guess, at the same time, and then it takes as long to make changes. Then you end up on the track right with that same guy again, and it was the 11 bunch yesterday, and it was good to be around him and see what his car was doing. He obviously knows how to get around this racetrack, and I saw a few things with his line that I liked and experimented with. So we'll go to work today and see what happens. The thing that I'm excited about today is that it's a day race. I think it's going to be very challenging for all the race teams to get a hold of this racetrack and to make it happen. That 11 team knows how to go fast at night here. They've proven that time and time again, and I hope that today in the sun challenges them a little bit more.
Well, now the hunted is now the hunter, as you like to say. Jimmy Johnson going for 5 in a row. Should be a lot of fun to watch it play out. And Steve Burns, Jimmy really needs to win this race because, look down here, Jimmy needs shoes. Jimmy needs some shoes.
And the new baby does too. But you know what, guys? The reason Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, and that team win championships, 10 of their last 11 races, they've been in the top 5. Top 10. 8 top 5 finishes. The other thing is, Jimmy said we're going to race during the day. They are absolutely the best at adapting to what the race and the track presents them.
Listen, that one interview alone, it's subtle, but it's mind games. It's mind games. Denny, I wish I was in Denny's position in a spot where I could lose the championship. And he was talking about their cars and how similar they are. There was a lot of little subtle things that were said in that interview right there that's working on that mind.
The biggest thing when I look at the snapshot of the 35 races of this season for the 48 team, they won 3 of the first 5 races, okay? What was going on in the first 5 races? We still had the wing. When they put the rear spoiler on these cars, there's no question, Hendrick Motorsports, they were behind. That 48 team went almost 3 months, Jeff, before they got to victory lane, but just about before the chase started, it appeared they started to get their arms around this rear spoiler that we're racing now today.
And that's the reason I think these guys are going to be so tough to beat today, because once again, the experience, the fact that Jimmy is very calm, he knows what he's got to do, he works tirelessly to get ready to get this job done, and Chad Knaus will make the right adjustments and get that car tuned up when it matters the most, and he'll make it happen. But right now, Wendy, what's going on with that 11 car? That's what everybody really wants to know, because he's the guy you got to beat.
Yeah, a minute-to-minute update on what's going on with these cars in the garage area. The 11 car has just pulled out of its garage stall. They have gone through every checklist possible before they go through inspection, and this now is the first inspection spot for the 11 crew. Now, when I checked in with the team, they have motivational quotes they put in the hauler every weekend. John Farino, one of the crew members, the quote that's in the hauler that he's put up this weekend, as you see John working under the car right now, to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream, not only plan, but also believe. But that's not the only one. The quote inside the race car, I can and I will, is the quote for Denny Hamlin. That's what Denny Hamlin looks at every single lap. So between the quote with the crew members that John Farino's put up and the quote that Denny Hamlin has, they are no doubt motivated to win their first Sprint Cup championship. Johnny?
And Wendy, with all those good luck charms, it looks like Denny might have even added a little extra weight to that car before all is said and done. He's got the aces, of course, on the outside of the car as well. Thanks to Wendy and Hermie. Got a lot more coming our way from them. But when we come back, we will tell you how Richard Childress Racing came to the aid of another race team this week. Interesting story. You want to stick around to hear it. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. There are 40 other drivers on the racetrack to pay attention to today, besides the 3 going for the championship. One of those drivers is the pilot of the number 20 Home Depot machine. Joey Logano has one more chance to win a race this season. Let's go to Wendy, who's standing by with Joey Logano with your Home Depot Hot Lap.
Yeah, Johnny, Joey Logano is going to give us a quick take on what will it take to get around this racetrack and win today for you.
There's going to be a lot of different things. You know, I think today's going to be a lot of strategy, and there's a lot of things going to be going on out there. Obviously, with the points race, there's going to be a lot of things going on there, so we're going to want to do everything we can do to help Denny as much as we can. But we also got our own goals with the Home Depot Toyota, and that's going out there and winning the race. And we've been on a roll lately, and you know, we want to keep that going and try to get a win before the year's out. I feel like I got a really good car, and so as long as we're on our A game and you know, try to get up there, the best thing that can possibly happen today is we win the race and Denny finishes second and wins a championship. That's exactly what we want to happen, and we're going to give that our best shot.
All right, there's a lot of lanes around this racetrack. Where are you most comfortable?
I think you got to be open to be able to move. You know, I think you got to not be stubborn on one thing. You always be able to move around. That's the biggest thing about this place. You know, I qualified up top, and most cars did. But you know, yesterday I practiced trying to get my car to the bottom, and I feel like my car was able to move around good yesterday. So I think besides, you know, trying to get your car good and then you know, trying to keep up with the racetracks, I think it's going to change a lot throughout the race. We kind of fought a little bit of that yesterday in the nationwide race. So if we can move around, and Zippy and the guys do a good job on keeping us in track position and you know, keeping our car good at the end and have a shot at it.
Coach Gibbs was just speaking to you. If you and Denny were coming down to the wire, would you have to move out of the way for Denny Hamlin to get those points, go for a championship?
I think Denny's going to want to win it the right way, you know, the way he wants to. So we're going to do you know, everything we can do to help him for sure. You know, we want to give him as much room out there as we can, because I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? But you know, at the same time, like I said, we're out there to win. We got our own common goal out there. You know, we're trying to get 15th in points, and you know, we're not very far from that. So we got a good shot at doing that today. Got a really good race car, so we're going to focus on that. But you know, we're going to do whatever we got to do to help him out too.
All right, go get to that drivers meeting. Joey Logano will be starting 18th today in this race, Johnny.
Wendy, thanks a lot. That's going to be an interesting drivers meeting. No doubt the phrase, don't be that guy, will be used. This past week, Richard Childress Racing came to the rescue of the number 78 Furniture Row Racing team. The team's hauler was involved in a scary wreck just 40 miles away from their Colorado-based racing shop. It wrecked the team's motor coach and hauler. No one on the team was seriously hurt, but Childress loaned them a hauler so they could get Regan Smith's car and equipment to the racetrack and race this weekend. So very nice gesture on the part of Richard Childress Racing to help somebody out so they can compete this Sunday on championship weekend at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We got to take another break on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Much more coming your way. We are just barely firing our engines, and eventually today we will crown a champion.
After a 5-year drought, JGR's main man is one race from the big prize. Can Team Joe top the four-time champ on his quest for a fourth cup? Gibbs stops by the set to tell us how he likes his chances today, and if we're about to see a changing of the guard at the top of the Cup Mountain. Stick around for one of NASCAR's finest, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on speed.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. When Kevin Harvick took over for Dale Earnhardt, he quickly became a winner. But building the number 29 team into a championship contender is a process that took the better part of a decade.
In order to contend for the championship, Kevin Harvick first had to contend with the shadow of someone else.
He knew the position he was getting into, and he knew the respect the racing community and the world had for Dale Earnhardt.
He knew it was going to be a big shoes to fill and expectations that really weren't worth it.
I think Kevin struggled a little bit with not only how to be his own person, but how does he create that identity without feeling like he's trying to, push aside Dale. That's hard.
He was a 25-year-old recruit raised from the Truck Series for his raw driving talent. A complimenting match to the roughly refined prowess of a 7-time champion around whom Childress built an empire.
Absolutely, Kevin was intimidated by Dale, in the sense that, you're getting to be around your childhood hero.
I had a few interactions with him, but I kind of did my thing, and he was always kind of that guy that you looked up to, but I was just getting started and not really wanting to ask a whole lot of questions.
But the question on everyone's mind after Earnhardt's tragic death was, what now? Richard Childress needed someone to replace a legend.
I said, "Do you want to do it?" He said, "Yes, I'll drive it. I want to do it."
I don't know what we'd have done if he'd have said no. He didn't make him do it. He asked him as a favor to the company, and that's the way Kevin took it.
I said, "Here's the deal. It's going to change your life forever." And he says, "I'm up to it."
And I walked into the media tent, and that's kind of when the first time that it hit me, and I was like, oh my God. And nobody will ever replace him, and I think we all know that, so I would hope that you guys don't expect me to replace him because nobody ever will.
3 races later, Kevin Harvick helped fill the void by forging an opportunity of his own.
Jeff Gordon's going to give it all he's got. His turn, his time, he's going to try to go down bottom. He's going to try to get down under him.
Gets a good run there in the middle of 3 and 4. They'll be coming for the white flag right here. 1 lap to go.
I just kept praying for Dale to help us win this race, because the company needed it so bad.
This slow car's going to be in the way.
Just like a year ago, he's going to get him, though. He's going to get him. Gordon got loose. It's Harvick. Harvick by inches. Harvick by inches.
After that, we actually thought we was going to win the championship with Kevin. And when we really were jacked up that much that we thought we were going to win it.
If we hadn't had some of the success, some of the wins, some of the things that we had that year with Kevin, we might not even be here today as RCR. And I think we'll always owe Kevin Harvick for the job he did in 2001.
He's half a lap from establishing racing legend for himself. And the California kid, Kevin Harvick, wins the 10th Brickyard 400.
The next 5 years were a mixed bag of results.
And this is Kevin Harvick going after Greg Biffle.
Harvick's tumultuous tenure with RCR remained clouded by association with his famous predecessor.
The hardest part for me in the whole thing was just trying to live up to expectations of somebody else's fans. I didn't like the fact that, you know, you're trying to please somebody that wanted you to be like somebody else.
That shadow just followed him around the whole time when he was in a Goodrich car, that everyone would always said that's Dale's cars.
When people would compare or mention Kevin and Dale together, it made him very uncomfortable. But at the same time, he felt like he belonged and he felt like he deserved to be here.
Despite 10 wins of his own, it took a new sponsor to truly give Harvick his own identity.
It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. They're side by side, right to the line.
Checkered flag, Harvick. Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500.
Finally, Harvick found some comfort in his own skin.
I don't think they'll ever stop thinking about Dale when they see Kevin, and I don't think he would ever want that to some degree, but I think Kevin has just really found his place in the sport in a more comfortable way, honestly, the last year or two. It's taken a long time.
Now, Kevin Harvick does have a Daytona 500 victory, a Brickyard 400 victory, and that championship trophy would look very good next to that. But Kyle Petty, if anybody knows about racing in the shadow of a legend, it's got to be you.
No, and look, I want to be real clear here. Kevin Harvick is his own man. He's come out from under that shadow. That team is always going to be associated with Dale Earnhardt Sr. But I want you to think about some of the words that Kevin Harvick said, some of the words that Will Lynn said, some of the words that Richard Childress said, and think about the pressure that's on Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the pressure that we as fans, and you guys as fans, and we as an industry put on him. It's got to be magnified 10,000 times that much. But I think Kevin's done a tremendous job of stepping out of that and running a parallel path to what Earnhardt Sr. has done and what the Childress team has done.
That was one of the best pieces of the year I've ever watched. I was magnetized, and I come out flabbergasted, but all I can do is relate. You know, like Kyle sits up here, or anybody, you get compared with somebody, whether I'm compared to my brother, him, Richard, but I will say this. One thing Kevin Harvick done, and Richard Childress said it, is Kevin Harvick saved Richard Childress Racing, and for that, he is to be commended. An incredible job to go into a car. I don't know what he was thinking, but he did a great job, and it's just unbelievable.
And Steve Burns from Pit Road, you've had a pretty good view of what Kevin Harvick has done as a driver and as a person as well.
Well, you know, Johnny, I covered Kevin in the Truck Series back in the late 90s, and when he was picked to take that ride, I thought he was going to make it, and the reason is because he's mentally tough. He was tough then, and he's still tough now. And, you know, the other thing about it, guys, being tough has served him well because there were some down days at RCR over the past few years.
Yeah, I really think one of the things that's really helped Kevin is at this time last year, guys, we didn't even know if he'd be at RCR or not. And he was thinking about moving on and going somewhere else. The resurgence of him and that team. But quickly about Dale Sr., Larry, it created a void. When Dale Sr. Passed, it created a void that really no one's been able to fill. And the number 3, not using the number 3, I think that's probably a blessing for Kevin Harvick. At least he has his own identity with the car number, which I think is good for him.
Well, I love what he said in the piece. You know, when he was first tapped to get in that race car, I'm not here to replace him. No one can replace Dale Earnhardt. But I have a philosophy. If there's a problem, it's really not a problem as long as all parties realize it. And I think about halfway through last year, Richard Childress, that entire organization, realized we are behind. They were behind on the race cars. They felt like they were in pretty good shape with the ECR engine package because they had a measuring stick with Montoya in the 42 car that was over there leading laps, winning races, almost won the Brickyard 400. They went to work, and we saw at the end of last year, Jeff, even right here when Jeff Burton finished second, that RCR probably when 2010 started, they were going to be back on the map.
And I think the other cool thing about it is, Larry, is the way Kevin, I think, stepped up to the plate and helped Richard bring the team back. And I think his complaining, his pointing fingers are saying, guys, we got to fix this or I'm going to go somewhere else. I have got to be able to win races. I've got to be able to have an opportunity to win a championship. And right now, we're not a championship team. I think that helped force Richard Childress to make some big decisions, big changes. And in the end, right now, RCR is benefiting from that. His leadership, not only on the racetrack, but away from the racetrack. Now Richard Childress and they have a partnership. as far as the Nationwide Series and trucks are concerned. This is growing, I mean, in leaps and bounds, and Kevin Harvick, I think, is right now walking arm in arm, hand in hand with Richard Childress. This organization will be around for a long time because of his leadership, JR, and it's great to see.
And today, Jeff, Kevin Harvick could come out of this place with his first ever Sprint Cup Series championship. Well, history is on his side, but history doesn't win championships. Denny Hamlin could today. We'll see how history and his wins so far this season have put him in the position as one of the championship favorites. Many race fans will remember when Denny Hamlin said, "All we do is win." Well, 8 victories later, they now come into the final race of the season with the championship lead and a shot at championship #1 for driver 11.
A strong finish at the end of 2009 created a buzz around Denny Hamlin and the 11 team. Heading into the 2010 season, many picked the 11 car as the team to finally dethrone Jimmy Johnson and the 48.
When you have success early like we did, especially my rookie season, it's tough not to expect a championship every year from there on out.
Here comes Kenseth, 3 wide to the bottom. Kenseth to the inside, takes the lead. He's got a tire down. He goes to the outside and hits the wall, and Denny Hamlin takes the lead.
It all worked out perfectly for Denny Hamlin. He scores his first win of the year here at Martinsville Speedway.
Denny Hamlin started out this season on a tear. Unfortunately, it was his ACL. He tore it playing basketball.
It's a small part of your body, but it's, I didn't realize so much pain come from such a small area.
Denny Hamlin, of course, won at Martinsville, and he's only 19 days out of that surgery on his left knee, and that wasn't some little thing. This is major reconstructive surgery.
Has Johnson got anything left? 6 car lengths, 5 car lengths. Denny Hamlin the leader. Jimmy Johnson is coming in a hurry.
Denny Hamlin playing hurt here today at Texas Motor Speedway as the winner of the Samsung Mobile 500.
Texas, baby!
Denny Hamlin hangs on.
Boy, you race right there. Good job.
I did it for the long run. I did it for the chase. I did it for the championship in the long run. So even though I knew I was going to sacrifice a month or so, that I knew once I came back I was going to be stronger.
At one point during the season, Hamlin and crew were simply dominant, winning 5 of 10 races. The 11 car appeared destined for a breakout year.
If getting your knees repaired will make you run like he's been running, I'm getting both of mine done.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin is on fire right now.
Tractor flag. All we do is win.
After a fast start to begin the year, Hamlin struggled in the late summer.
Big trail of smoke behind Denny Hamlin. Now he slides sideways down into the infield grass in turn 1, trying to keep it on the bottom of the raceway.
Denny Hamlin, tremendous damage on the FedEx Toyota.
But with one race left to earn valuable bonus points, the Virginia native parlayed home court advantage into the Chase top seed.
The Homestead driver from the Commonwealth of Virginia, Denny Hamlin, headed for home. Tractor flag, you are the man. Good fight there, points later.
Hamlin has finished no lower than 12th in the chase, including 2 wins.
We're back, baby. Awesome job.
Denny Hamlin is going to make a statement saying, if the drive for 5 is alive, you're going to have to come through me.
Leading the points heading to Homestead, Hamlin's destiny is in his own hands, and dreams of a first Sprint Cup championship are within his grasp.
And all those hard moments earlier in the season with surgery and everything, putting all that behind you, Denny, it's come to today. What is going through your mind right now in this final day of racing?
You know, it's just it's the last day of school. It's you know, and you hope to be king of your class, I guess. So it's for me, it's you know, it's a little bit of nervous times right now, but you know, once I get in the race car, obviously your focus changes to what you got to do to get up front, and obviously we got a long hole to dig out of today, so it's going to be a long day.
You've had a long season and you've used a lot of motivational tools. What's motivating you today?
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things I've carried in my back pocket all week, all weekend. things in the car. I'm not short of good luck charms, inspirational stuff that I've collected over the last few years and from family members that's passed. And so for me, it's all about today.
And when I was watching you in practice, I couldn't help but notice that you and the 48 were near each other almost all of the practice session. What were you learning from your race car and watching your competitor out there?
It looked to me like our cars were very, very close. It seems like our lap times are very, very close together. For me, the 29s was a little bit better. But, for me, we're just going to concentrate on making sure we have the right pit strategy, making sure we make the right adjustments. And so by going out there and practicing near someone, you get a little bit more comfortable.
You have proven that you are a championship contender. Is that enough for you at this point?
It is. I've been a contender for the last few years, and things just haven't worked out for me. I really firmly feel like this year is my year. I never would have imagined I would have won 8 races in 1 year, but this would be a great way to cap off an amazing season, and I feel like our team's destined to do it.
All right, well, good luck to Denny Hamlin going for his first Sprint Cup championship, from one famous number 11 driver to another famous 11 driver, DW.
Hey, Wendy, yeah, I just thought a little history about the number 11. It's the second winningest number. It's got 196 wins. But that's good news. The bad news is it hadn't won a championship since 1985. And a couple of tips for Denny. I believe you got to stay away from the wall today. The track is slick. You get up there flirting with that high line. It might feel good and it might be fast, but you can't tear the right side of your race car up and try to win this championship. So stay away from the wall. And the other thing is, I heard him say, worry about pit strategy. That's not your job. Your job is to be the best driver today you can be. Focus on staying away from that wall. Pick your way through that traffic that you got to come through without tearing the car up or beating the fenders in on it, and you've got an awfully good chance today, young man, of winning this race.
But I think the key, DW, whether they have a good car or just an okay car when this race starts, the key will be good communication between he and Mike Ford all day long. That's what broke them down at Phoenix. Mike Ford knew on Saturday that they were in a little bit of trouble with fuel mileage. He knew that they probably couldn't go even close to what some of those other guys could go. And you know what? When you're 12 laps short, tell your driver, go for it. We're going to have to stop. Your teammate Kyle Busch is going to have to stop. Mike Ford had the information, Kenny. I'm just not sure it was communicated that good with his driver, Denny Hamlin.
One thing I want to point out about Denny Hamlin, this week, the last 3 weeks, we've been talking about mind games. Oh, how's Denny looking? Is he holding his head like this? Is it like this? I can tell you I've studied Denny Hamlin for years. Talk all you want, but he was honest. He said, you know what? This is a nervous time. He better be nervous or he's not normal. But Denny Hamlin continues to prove this. Talk all you want, do all the media you want, be together with your chase contenders. He still goes out, and when they flip the switch and he gets on the racetrack, everything's normal. And he's just brutally honest. He's not good, maybe, at playing this game, but I still think when they start that race today, he's going to be fine. Darrell Waltrip, maybe you could teach him some lessons about mind games, but all I know is he can drive, JR.
He certainly can. He's got 8 wins to prove that as well. Perhaps one of the more important drivers meeting of the year, and I know Have At It Boys with Limits was one of the things said, Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, I just want to give the fans a brief rundown of the drivers' meeting. First of all, Mike Hilton got up and thanked all the series sponsors, the teams, the owners, the drivers, and the fans for making this a great NASCAR season. And then, as you said, JR, Robin Pemberton stands up and goes through the list of special guests. He introduced a lot of guests that were here today, and he did say when he got done, he said, remember, Boys Have At It does have its limits. And that's the last thing Robin Pemberton said. But when it got to the question and answer session, Mark Martin raised his hand, as well as Denny Hamlin, and they both had questions about getting on and off of pit road. So watch out in the race today. When your driver is coming into pit road, whether it be under caution or under green, they come directly off of the racetrack, directly onto pit road. They do not use the access road. Then once they leave their pit stalls, going back on pit road to go back on the racetrack, they will use the access road inside of turns 1 and 2 to get back their speed back going and blend back on the racetrack coming off of turn 2. So they use the access road, leaving the pits, they come straight off the racetrack onto pit road, entering the pits, and a mistake like that could also very much diminish your chances to win this race, Johnny, if you don't pay attention.
Exactly, Hermie, and one lapse in judgment, one small mistake could mean the loss of a championship for one of these drivers who is competing for the championship. Well, fans, whoever does make it to the award ceremony, you can catch it December 3rd as the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series ends its season in style. Don't miss the award ceremony hosted by Frank Caliendo with performances by Rascal Flatts, live Friday, December 3rd at 9 Eastern, only on Speed. When we come back, we will put our money where our collective mouths are for the last time this season and have our Sunoco performance picks and see if anybody can unseat the defending champion right now, Kyle Petty. Welcome back, everyone. For the final time this season, we have our Sunoco performance picks. The 2010 standings go like this. Wendy is zeroing in on Kyle Petty, but that's going to be a big margin to take over. But I think if anybody could do it, it's past champion Wendy Venturini. And then myself and Kenna Wallace are battling for the basement. But, you know, if somebody didn't get fined 150 points at the beginning of the
I knew that was coming up.
Well, because it was a shrouded decision.
If Tony Stewart would have not run out of gas.
If. Okay. I've been tweeting Daryl through the whole thing because Daryl's the one that put me in this position during the summer. Because I'm leaning towards the 29 again. I've stuck with the 11 for the first part of the chase here, Daryl. And then he finally won. They won't let me pick him anymore, so I've gone with the 29. Is that okay with you?
That's a good one. I like it.
Okay, DW and Kyle Petty are going with the 29 today to win this race and to come from third for the championship.
So DW gets the owner's championship.
Yes, he does. DW gets the owner's championship. That's
Wendy?
exactly right.
Okay, well, I have a lot of ground to make up in one race, but I am not going with a Joe Gibbs car. I am not going with a Hendrick car, and I am not going with an RCR car. Just for the sake of the championship, I'm going to go with a Roush Fenway racing car. The number 99 of Carl Edwards will end up in victory lane today. And say what you want, fans, but nonetheless, we have a championship on the line. Our race day fantasy picks, of course. Hermie?
Well, thank you, Wendy. And I've done a pretty decent job in this chase. I got a top 5 going using all non-chasers throughout this fantasy picks here in the chase. But today I'm going with Martin Truex Jr. He qualified 25th, but he was 3rd in final practice, and his car looked good on the racetrack. And Michael Waltrip Racing, to me, is really zeroing in on being able to compete for these wins on a consistent basis. So today I'm picking Martin Truex Jr., and I just hope if he wins, he doesn't sing that Napa song in victory lane. I don't like it. Who's next?
I am next, Hermie Sadler, and you know what? You got a pretty good pick there, and I wonder what they did to bribe you because Hermie's vote can be bought. Just a note for next year. He can be bribed, but no bribery here. I feel as if Kyle Busch is going to make another one of his historical weekend sweeps. And you know what?
You got cheers. You got cheers, man.
Cheers. I thought for sure we were going to get
Great job, Johnny Roberts. Great job, baby.
I hope Kyle heard that because the fans back here are pulling for you. Make another one of these weekend sweeps and make more NASCAR history. He might be able to do it. And I guess there's one more guy left.
I'm in the basement. Hey, Mom, can I come up? I'm off the internet now. I'll put the bag of potato chips down. I've got 2 wins in 10 races. Greg Biffle and, of course, Carl Edwards. But I have too many DNFs. That's why I'm going to go with the guy that in the last 10 races has got 7 top 10s. Which a Home Depot hot lap. Joey Logano.
All right, Joey.
Joey has trained me. 7 top 10s in the last 10 races. Go, Joey. And, of course, to Pedro. Pedro's last. Where's he at? You mean I'm last?
Last.
Nobody
Sorry,
after
man.
me?
Sorry. Go back down to the basement.
I'll go back on my computer and get on Twitter.
It's always difficult when you're on stage because you will get critiqued, and now we have some of the best in the business to critique our picks. Steve Burns, what do you think about how we've done?
Well, I'm bitter about the show contest part of it, you know, race hub and trackside. You guys seemingly pick on the white flag lap every week, and that's why you're leading. I have no comment about
There's a lot of bitterness and trash talking in this chase. I'm going to tell you that
I always say
championship.
Bitter or better. Which will it be, Larry?
Well, I know why John Roberts did not pick Greg Biffle. The new pet calendar is already out on the book stand.
Yeah.
That's the reason he didn't pick him.
Nice. But he won on the calendar,
I'm
Larry
a little
Mack.
concerned that none of you guys, and you totally overlook, guys and girls, overlook Jeff Burton. You know, he finished 2nd here a year ago, fastest in final practice. But I think the girls got the winner. I think Carl Edwards, possibly in that 99, he's going to win 2 in a row.
But what about Tony Stewart, guys? I mean, nobody's talked about Tony. Again, he runs well down here.
Nobody's talked about Tony in a while.
I know. I can't believe that right there. I mean, you guys, it's kind of, especially Kenny Wallace. Come on, Kenny.
Hey.
The 24's out there, too. He needs to win a race, and he's running pretty well.
Joey Logano with your Home Depot Hollap. How can you beat it?
Did Larry just call Wendy the girl?
The girl.
Okay, I just want a clarification on that. Just want a clarification.
The girl that always wins everything we do on race day, the bus race, the fantasy picks, everything. Anyway, if you want to win something, you can get your hands on a official Sunoco racing fuel can. All you got to do is visit speed.com/Sunoco for entry details, official rules, and drawing dates, and you can have an official Sunoco racing fuel can. You know, each weekend we probably should thank this group, but we get a chance to do it at the end of each year. An army of dedicated and talented people drag miles of cable, set up stages, and prepare for a weekend of NASCAR TV. Behind the scenes, these people are the first in and the last out. Directors, producers, and technicians make these shows look good, and we certainly couldn't do it without them. We salute the behind-the-scenes people that each weekend do some of the more Herculean tasks in TV, and that's get these Speed TV shows on the air. Thank you to the behind-the-scenes people for another great year. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, the coach himself, Joe Gibbs, 3 Super Bowls, 3 Cup championships. No one better to talk to on a day where a championship will be given out. Welcome back, everybody. We are roughly 90 minutes away from the green flag here on the final race of the season. When it comes to competition, there are competitors, there are winners, and then there are champions. And then there is a guy like Joe Gibbs with multiple championships in 2 of the world's top sports series. Let's now go down to the beach and check in with the coach. Steve Burns?
All right, thank you very much, Johnny, with DW and Joe Gibbs. And Joe, Darrell and I were talking right before you sat down. How does a morning like this compare or differ from when you were getting ready to play a Super Bowl?
I'd say the Super Bowl and this are very, it's the same, really.
Yeah.
Same feeling. I'm probably more nervous because I'm going to have less to do with this. In football, I was kind of consumed with calling plays and that type of thing. And here, as everybody knows, I'm not the technical guy, so I just stand around and take the credit when it goes good, and I say it's their fault when it goes bad. So that's the owner over here. But I'd say it's every bit the tension. Last night I was so uptight, you know, it was a hard time sleeping. And it means so much to FedEx, everybody that goes with you. And I think that's why you get so excited about it.
I can't imagine you being uptight. I've seen you walk that sideline with that look on your face. I never thought I'd hear you say you're uptight. But let me ask you this. Has the commissioner ever called a little meeting with you the morning of the game to go over the rules with you one more time?
I think in the NFL, I knew when I did the wrong thing because the fine was coming. Over here, I think the meeting was good. I think it was just common sense.
With you, Mike, and Rick Hendrick, and and yourself,
Richard,
and Childers.
Yeah, it was just a normal meeting, just what you'd think. And, you know, I think
by the way, I've never had a normal meeting with him, but I'm glad.
Yeah. You wouldn't. It'd be Abby normal.
That's right.
Joe, how about after the race at Phoenix? Mike and Denny, that didn't seem like they were on the same page with the fuel mileage issue, and they were both extremely honest about that.
Yeah.
Was that something that you as an owner had to address, or did they work those things out themselves?
No, I think they worked that out themselves. Basically what had happened there, Mike knew what we had to do. And there was no sense telling Denny. I don't think he felt like he had to tell Denny a lot. Hey, you got to go as hard as you can. We weren't going to make it on fuel mileage. It wound up the perfect storm. It was right. Could you have tried to run the risk and stretch it? Yeah. And you could have run out of gas. And a lot of scenarios on that part of it, you probably would have given up a lot trying to save fuel. And our situation wound up where, hey, you know, you make a decision like that. And here's my feeling. Anytime I've had to make those in football, had to make them at different times in life. Hey, it could go either way. That's part of pro sports, and we didn't like the way it turned out that day, but, you know, we get here. I think it's a thrill being a part of this, and we certainly appreciate all of our fans and everybody's watching on Speed, and we're certainly thrilled to be a part of such a great race.
Coach, I know you're a very godly man. Your faith is very important to you. I love the way you and the team pray before and after races. I see you huddle up every time and you say your prayer. Your ministry, the Game Plan for Life, that's very important to you as well. You have a lot of things going on, not just here at the racetrack, but outside the track as well.
I think really and truly for me, I've been fortunate enough with the football and Super Bowls and over here with championships. I really think, Darrell, the most important thing I will leave on this earth is that game plan for life. Basically, what is life? To me, life's a game. You and I are the players. God's our head coach. And I feel like with an all-knowing, all-powerful coach, leave you on this earth without a game plan. I don't think so. It's his word, the Bible. And so what game plan for life is, it's taking the 11 most important topics that people say they need to have modern-day victory in and letting 11 scholars lay out what God has to say about those topics. And then my stories weave through there to show people when you veer away from the game plan, you get pounded. And when you follow it, you get some kind of success.
He told me a long time ago, he may not remember, he said, DW, everybody needs a coach.
That's a fact.
That's right.
Joe, you've won big games, big races, championships, and, this year, or just recently, the NASCAR Illustrated Person of the Year is another honor. And I think, as Darrell said, your faith and your spiritual courage will help define your legacy. That's another fine honor.
Well, it certainly is a great honor. I feel like I'm riding on a lot of people's backs when you get an award like this. And I really appreciate, getting that award. It was kind of unreal. A couple of guys, I was going to speak in prison, and a couple of photographers are going with me. I didn't really even understand what it was about. I thought it was for just a newspaper article. And, the great thing about speaking in prison, I know, Darrell, you've done that. We have the message, I think, for all of us. We serve a God of second chances. And you look out at all those guys. Last time I spoke, there was 1,200 guys there. And the great message there is we serve a God of second chances. How many mistakes have we made? David's a good example in the Bible. He committed almost every sin, including murder.
He did.
And he came back and fell at God's feet. And what did God say? This is a man after my own heart. So the message for all of us doesn't matter what you've done. We serve a God of second chances, and that's great. If you're on his team, that's all that matters. So I appreciate them going with me and letting some of those things be written about. And I really appreciate you guys letting me share it on the show here.
That's the heart of a champion right there, the heart of a champion.
Joe, thanks for being with us. And, of course, best of luck. Hope you get some sleep tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll probably sleep tonight one way or the other.
No, you won't. Those rowdy boys will be up all night.
I'll be running the street.
All right.
And you won't be running on empty.
That's right. Let's go back to Johnny.
Steve, thanks a lot, and congratulations to Joe Gibbs on yet another honor and potential championship today. So we go from the coach to the boss. When we come back on the speed stage out here, we have CEO Brian France joining us, so stay by. Welcome back to Race Day, everyone. We are less than 90 minutes away from the green flag on the final race of the season. It's becoming somewhat of a tradition for us here on Speed to be honored by the presence of Brian France, CEO of NASCAR, on the speed stage at the end of every season. It's good to talk to you, Brian. Thank you for coming out. Beautiful day again we have out here. We appreciate you coming by and talking to us on a day when we know you're very busy. Yeah. And especially, we just heard from the coach, Joe Gibbs, that you guys sat down, yourself and Mike Helton, sat down with the three owners in the chase just to have a meeting, and then Coach Gibbs said it was a very positive meeting.
Well, it was. We were just making sure that the flow of the race goes correctly. Obviously, these are multi-car teams. We want to make sure that it's settled between the three drivers that are racing for the championship. Everybody's on the same page with that, and we just really wanted to make sure we were all sitting down, having a conversation, and went well.
Brian, the competition, in my opinion, has been incredible. It's a great show. We've got everything that we've always wanted this year. What is wrong? Is there anything wrong? Something that you want to do?
No. We listen. We've rolled back some start times with our events. We've done some things, switched networks. So we've got some things from a continuity standpoint to build on, and we're in the off season. We'll be making some tweaks. But you're right. For a while there, it was a little bit debatable. Was the quality of racing where it should be, and all of that. No doubt about it. Right now, once the spoiler came on and everybody's truly figured out this car, best racing I've seen in at least a decade.
I agree.
Yeah, and the last 10 races have been great. In conjunction with what Johnny said and King, under your guidance, NASCAR's been incredibly proactive to what the fans say, to what's going on there. And as we go forward, I listened to your press conference the other day about technology, weaving more technology into the sport. You know, and my man Kenny here is working with the Illinois corn growers to bring in ethanol and to work with green fuels and stuff.
Good job, buddy.
How big of an issue is that for NASCAR moving forward in the next 2 to 3 years?
I think it's important for a variety of reasons. One is the car manufacturers. It's very important to them to have high energy efficient, lots of technology. I think for the fans of the future, the environment, doing things right from a green standpoint is very important to our young fans. And it's also just the right thing to do. We'll do it intelligently, hopefully, in a nice, steady, smart march to figuring all those things out.
And Brian, also it's been a lot of talk about potentially a change to the chase format. Now we've had some chases that haven't been hotly contested. We've had some that have been very close. And now we got the closest between the top 2 ever.
Yeah.
Does that change your approach now that we've seen it come down to this about changing the chase format?
I don't think so. I think what you do see is when there's a lot on the line between these individual teams, they elevated their performance. And just look at the last 4 races. Look who's running up front, charging, leading the most laps. It's the teams that are in winning the races. There's a reason for that because it's so competitive. They know a championship is just within reach. That brings out the best in our drivers and our teams.
Brian, there have been so many good changes. I want to stress that, good changes. Making sure we have 3 chances to end under checkered flag.
Right.
Double file restarts. Guys go ahead and race each other. You know, we've seen fisticuffs kind of pushing and shoving. So my question to you is this. Who said, let's do it? I've been telling the fans at the NASCAR Fan Council that you've been listening to the fans. Am I correct, or have you been making these changes based on other situations?
No, there's no question. We thought after last year's Talladega, as an example, we might have been over-regulating the sport, not letting the drivers, have enough in their hands. So collectively, we sat down in the offseason and said, look, this is a contact sport. This is we didn't get here because we had a lot of regulations. We got here because the drivers and the teams need to be, have the ability to go settle it on the track. And so we throttled our regulation back, and I think you're seeing a really good outcome from that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, here we are in 2010, and a great chase. The chase has got to the point where it's so good. We talk about changes. Do you see any, and you talk about tweaking the sport. We went from a wing to a spoiler. We let boys have at it. We go green, white, check. Tweaks. Do you see any major issues in the next 4 to 5 years facing this sport as we look at TV contracts, as we look at where we are as a sport, new venues coming on board, anything like that? Are there any major things on your radar screen right now?
Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, I think we obviously have renewals and we have partners to make sure that they're satisfied, and that's an ongoing thing. But I think we feel like we've got the nationwide car, the car in the Sprint Cup Series correct, and it's about telling the story a little bit better and all of that. But right now, if you think about it, almost every league or tournament or conference has taken a hard look at either adding teams to their playoffs, changing their tournament around a little bit. So we're really not that different in respect to the offseason. You make sure that your playoff style and your season is fitting for where you are today, and that's what we'll be doing in the offseason on the chase.
Brian, thank you so much for your time. We certainly appreciate you coming out here and joining us. I know the fans appreciate it. We got a whale of a race this afternoon. The next time we see Brian, we'll be handing out the 2010 championship trophy to one of 3 very deserving teams who have been the best all season long, and now they have a chance to prove who is the best among the 3 today.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at funaiamerica.com.
As we get closer and closer to the final race of the 2010 Sprint Cup season, you can feel the excitement in the air here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Let's go down to Wendy Venturini for some final thoughts. Wendy?
Thanks, Johnny. It comes down to 3 guys, and in a few more hours, we will know who our 2010 champion will be here in the Sprint Cup Series. Will it be Denny Hamlin, who comes into Homestead with the points lead, only 15 points? Keep in mind, he qualified in the back 37th. He is a long way ahead of him, but Can he knock the four-timer off the top? Jimmy Johnson going for 5 championships in a row. He has a much better qualifying effort. Or can it be the spoiler of the group, Kevin Harvick, who's so-called underdog? I think he has a lot to gain also, and nothing to lose. Third in points for Kevin Harvick. This is going to be a battle that we are all going to watch every single lap until we get to that checkered flag. I don't know how many days we have to get before we get to the Daytona 500. I'm sure Larry Mack knows that number, but one thing's for sure, we have a battle among us before we crown that champion, and I can't wait to get through this season for so many reasons. Hermie Sadler, I think you are standing near what everyone's fighting for today.
Yeah, I am, Wendy. You know, we sang to this trophy back at Loudon to begin this chase, and they won't let me hold it today, but one champion will hoist this trophy in victory lane and become the 2010 champion. If you think about the 3 guys that could potentially take this trophy home today, 3 potentially great stories. Jimmy Johnson obviously has already made history with 4 in a row, looking for 5. That'd be crazy if he could do that. Denny Hamlin, second in points, a Virginia native. You know, hadn't been long. He just came into this series. What a run it would be for him to get his first title. And Kevin Harvick trying to get Richard Childress back in championship form since 1994. And Dale Earnhardt, JR, I don't think you can pick a bad story for whoever wins this champion. But one thing's for sure, this thing has played out in 2010 like we all knew it could.
Hermie, thanks a lot. Darrell Waltrip, you have been here before. You know what these drivers are feeling like because you felt the pressure of running for a championship. What's going through their minds?
A couple things to watch, JR. First of all, boys have at it. We've already mentioned that. Pit stops. Why did the 48 change pit crews? They don't have the fastest car. In the past, they've had the fastest car. I believe that honor now goes to the 11 car. Chad's going to be looking for max points today, trying to get the most laps and win this race. That will assure them they can win the championship. And here's a question I have, and you can answer this. If the 88's leading and the 48's running second, and the 48 needs to win the race, what do you think might happen?
If I'm Jimmy Johnson, like he's already said, if he's in front of me and I got to win, sorry, buddy, I'm going to turn you around. I'm going to go on and win the race. That's what this championship may come down to, guys. But the cool thing about it, though, any way it goes out, NASCAR and the fans are going to wind up winning because we got great storylines, first, second, and third. I'm just going to be excited to sit here and watch for the next 400 miles and find out, Larry Mack, who winds up walking away with this championship, because anyway, we can't lose.
What I love, we've been on the air for almost 3 hours, and you have not heard one thing about what if. Clinch scenarios. There are no clinch scenarios. You go out there and lead the most laps and win the race, and you might hoist that trophy as the 2010 Sprint Cup Series champion. Oh, by the way, Wendy, 91 days until the 2011 Daytona 500.
You're a sad, strange little man.
He really is.
You got great drivers, you got great teams, and you got great owners. That means we're going to have a great race.
Amen.
Looking forward to it.
Steve, thanks a lot. And guys, simply put, you got to finish ahead of the other 2 guys that are chasing you, and that's going to give you the best shot at being champion.
Yeah, these guys have to race for the win. I got nothing else to say about this championship. I'm going to Lloyd's. I'm going to get me something to eat. I'm going to grab me a seat, and I'm going to watch a great race and a great championship.
Race fans, I just want to thank all of you. These race day shows have been awesome. It's been all about you. Thanks for watching NASCAR Race Day.
And we also want to thank everybody at the Homestead Miami Speedway for having us in this Champions Week. It's been a great weekend and a great year as well. Thanks to NASCAR for putting on a great show. Thanks to our crew for putting on a great show every weekend. And also we want to say thanks to everybody at Fox Sports Net. Started this thing 10 years ago. We've been on the air 10 years with a pre-race show and a post-race show. It's been a great ride. And thanks to you, most importantly, the fans. Stay tuned, everybody. We've got a great race and Victory Lane coming your way tonight.
We get set to turn loose 2010.
The 52nd Daytona 500 to Jamie McMurray.
I'd rather lose to any other 41 cars out there than this 48 car.
Ladies and gentlemen, let the wrecking begin.
7 cars into the wall, 3 wide and no trouble.
Have to maintain speed. That's in the rule book.
Marcus Ambrose has to give up the lead. Tony Stewart has run out of gas. Clint Boyer will win the Sylvania 300.
Less than the thickness of that quarter right there resulted in a 150-point fine.
I think that they should just be happy they're in the chase.
A couple of hard hits.
Now the 2 drivers are going at it.
Have at it. The gloves are off.
Have at it.
Oh, he put a blind on it.
Somebody better keep me away from Denny Hamlin after this race.
They're going at it, guys. Joy has to stand up for himself at some point in time.
Put that mother...
Make the nose.
It's probably not his fault, you know. His wife wears a fire suit and family tells him what to do.
Jamie McMurray is getting set to kiss the bricks at Indianapolis.
Brad knows the deal between him and I.
The engine lying in the grass. Casey Kane up and in the air. 7 cars crash and collide. And upside down is A.J. Allmendinger. It's Harvick. He got him. We're going to wad up almost half the field.
Mark Martin being yanked out by some of the Lowe's team.
Flames pouring out.
Kyle Busch will pull off the clean sweep at Bristol Motor Speedway and drive into the record books.
Freedom of speech.
Kurt Busch wins the Sprint All-Star race.
Denny Hamlin, his 8th victory here in 2010.
3, 2, 1.
It's just the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
But getting NASCAR where it is today, we just went along for the ride.
It's been 64 races.
It's been a long time for Juan Pablo Montoya.
70 races, a long time coming.
Jamie McMurray may not be a chaser, but tonight he was the best racer.
It's chase time, and Team Lowe's going to victory lane. That's how they roll.
We're back, baby. Denny Hamlin, 3rd in a row at Martinsville.
The 24 who will pit in the 48.
Denny Hamlin gets the win and the point lead. Everybody made it on fuel, is that what you're telling me?
Denny Hamlin takes a 15-point lead over Jimmy Johnson, head of the Homestead Miami Speedway.